Wake up, I'm going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. The funny thing is, I actually can't be anti-Semitic because black people are actually Jew also. You guys have toyed with me and tried to blackball anyone who ever exposes your agenda. Now, they didn't read it like that. You see how I just read it? They wasn't reading it like that. Let me tell you how people like Piers Morgan was reading this shit. I'm a bit sleepy tonight, but when I wake up, I'm going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. The funny thing is I can't be anti-Semitic because black people are actually Jew. Also, you guys have toyed with me and tried to blackball anyone who ever exposes your agenda or opposes your agenda. Okay, so I'm going to read it how he wrote it. How did he write it? The nigga wrote it without periods, but with spaces where the period's supposed to go. You understand? That's where the fuck the nigga put the spaces at. You can see the fucking capital letter that follows. Right? You can see the shit. But they don't want you to see that. So let's read it. I'm a bit sleepy tonight, but when I wake up, I'm going DEFCON 3. On Jewish people. Meaning now, as far as this Jewish people shit. The funny thing is, I actually can't be anti-Semitic because black people are actually Jew also. Okay? There go another capital letter. And that's just the fucking period. You guys have toyed with me and tried to blackball anyone who ever opposes your agenda. That's the end of that tweet. Okay, let's get into it though. As soon as the tweet was posted, it went viral. The mainstream media, the MSM, rushed to make sure the focus was on the words DEFCON. I said I stepped out to clear up the confusion. I explained that the phrase DEFCON had to be some sort of spelling error because there simply is no such thing as DEFCON. Now, if you've been walking with me, you remember that. Well, I said, come on now, that's too easy. Remember the little sound that was coming around? Come on now, that's too easy. With the little squeaking in the background and shit. That I put that behind the post and show people what the fuck he had to be talking about. I said, this nigga got to be talking about DEFCON. He can't be talking about DEFCON. There's no such thing as DEFCON. That's not a military term. That ain't nobody's term. So either the nigga misspelled the shit or, something he fucked it up. Either way, he wound up coming out and saying, he said, I misspelled it. I have a tendency to do that. When he was on Drink Champs or one of them interviews, he was like, I misspelled it. I have a tendency to do that. But everybody jumped on the deaf word like that was a thing. It wasn't a thing. You understand? They made it into a thing. So I explained that the phrase DEFCON had to be some sort of spelling error because there simply is no such thing as DEFCON. You understand? There is, however, such a thing as DEF, D-E-F, con, which is a type of defense mechanism. You can see it in the word DEF, a defense mechanism. It is not used for offense or offense. So their arguments that this was a threat were empty. Still, people began comparing Ye to Hitler for speaking about what everybody knows is going on, but they mostly try to act like it isn't happening. Now, I tell people to even compare somebody to Hitler is like, bro, I tell people, you know how many bodies and people that died and how many places got destroyed because of Hitler? You gonna have to do a lot better than comparing somebody to Hitler because they disagree with what the fuck you doing or what you saying or calling people out. You don't compare nobody to Hitler for that. You know what I'm saying? You compare to somebody, but you don't choose one of the fucking world dominators to compare them to just because they oppose what the fuck you doing or what you saying or what you stand for or whoever that is. You feel what I'm saying? Same thing they tried to do with Trump. They tried to call Trump fucking Hitler. You feel what I'm saying? Like, bro, where's the criteria? How do y'all merit that? You feel what I'm saying? So watch. As all of that played out, Balenciaga dropped the ad where they showed these children surrounded by BDSM objects, wine glasses, holding stuffed animals with panda eyes. You don't know what that is. It's dark circles around the eyes that suggest that the child has been sodomized. All right? BDSM attire. And they only ran with certain photos, by the way. So most people probably only saw the two photos that were pushed everywhere. But there were some photos where one of the little girls was laid out on her stomach with a stuffed animal sitting next to her on a couch. This was something you only expect to see from an adult photo shoot. Yet, there was no outrage. Not even nearly the amount of pushback that was applied in the direction of one man. Ye, about a shirt. Anybody who spoke on it from a celebrity orientation might as well have been speaking on mute, as they said nothing. T.I. said he had to go and research it more, as if he had to make some type of educated decision on how to feel about children being sexually exploited. Kim Kardashian basically said she wanted to hear their side of the story to see how the ad got dropped. All of these people were playing games. They know what's moving behind that curtain. and they won't speak on it because they know they'll be speaking about their own actions or about the actions of their own friends and family and members and family members and managers. They would have to call all of them out, or they would have to call themselves out, and they won't do that, so they remain silent. The world has been caused to be desensitized about it. The world has been caused to not care. The world has chosen to not care. It's like I said in the Ye Not Crazy song. They are quiet about these babies. And like I tell people, interestingly enough, I released that song before the situation with the Balenciaga ad. And then people went on to prove exactly what I was saying, that people were going to be quiet about the babies. They quiet about the children. They quiet about that. But somebody put it on a shirt, they there. They'll show up for that. No outrage for Balenciaga. You still letting motherfuckers wear that shit. You understand? You still letting them just promote it, whatever. You don't care nothing about that. But for Ye, because you think that you said slavery was a choice, you think that that means that you just get to destroy him and tear him down for the rest of his life, and until he does something to himself or something happens to him, and then you're going to feel bad about it. You understand? But for stuff that was really going on that actually meant something, ain't nobody get active about it. They let them people get off easy. Who the fuck is Balenciaga? Who is that? You don't even know who Balenciaga is. What is that? Who is that? Who are the directors? Who are the ones who are behind it? The CEOs, who actually runs the corporation. You don't know none of these people's names or nothing. You didn't investigate. You didn't see if them children were safe. People didn't care nothing about any of that. Were the children safe? The children who were in that photo shoot, do they have parents on file? Do you know whether or not them children are being trafficked? For them to be that close to a sexual environment, do you know anything about that? No, you don't know anything about that. But the shirt, you investigated. You probably know who the fucking supplier was of the shirts, who pressed them up. You found out everything about that. But when it came down to them children, you turned the eye, act like it didn't happen. You tried to play like it was something that was his idea, and you still turned it back around on Kanye. I'll never forget that. People still made it seem, but Ye be wearing Balenciaga. Ye with Balenciaga. I don't give a fuck if Ye was with Balenciaga. Why didn't you have an outrage about what the fuck they put in front of you? You understand? It's because you've been desensitized to it. All of this is also tied to one of those so-called holidays, being that people accepted these days are actually holy days. You understand? Why am I saying that? Because you're saying holiday, holy days, okay? They are not. Most of these so-called holidays or holy days all come with a sinister, dark backstory. The one I'm referring to is Christmas, or the Christian massacre, or the Christian Mass, which is a gathering, or the gathering of the Christians, or the gathering disguised as the gathering of Christians, but it's actually a reenactment of gatherings that took place with people who were the Musrikin, or those polytheistic people who were not living in alignment with the ones they call Elyon or Allah, or the God of Isa, the God of Yeshua, or the God of Moses. They were worshiping the fallen Shaitan. They were trapped in Satan's claws, also called Baal. You see where I'm going with that? Okay, and they would look out and say Baal, or El is coming. And that El was Satan, or Beelzebub, or Santa. And so they were saying what? Here comes Santa Claus. All right? Now, who was there for the Baal? I think I told you Baal means Baal. El is coming. That El was Santa. Santa, Satan, Satan. Okay, Claus. All right, now I'm not talking about none of the extra claustrum shit, the brain breakdown, all of that. Okay, fine. That's an allegory. You can take from that too, and you can associate that as well. Okay, and I get that. The chimney, others, people get that. I get that. That's the inside. Now you deal with what's happening on the outside too. What's the outside? That's the satanic beings. All right, that were coming. So here comes Santa Claus. Here comes Santa Claus. That's why I had a song that came out around that same time, if you remember, where it was literally called "Here Comes Santa Claus." Before Children's Day or Christmas came, I had a song called "Here Comes Santa Claus." Okay, so I'm actually reading the lyrics. I got them in the book. Here comes Santa Claus. I said, here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane. Iblis in the midst. If you know who Iblis is Shaitan, okay? One of the adversaries, or the ones who are the opposers, okay? Iblis in the midst, him and all his angels are fooling y'all again. It's a bells are ringing, children singing, all is merry and bright. So lay your offerings and say your prayers, cause Santa Claus comes tonight. You see what I'm doing there? I'm telling you what they actually said. So lay your offerings and say your prayers. What are the offerings? The stockings. We'll get into it. Okay? Children get sacrificed to Baal and their family. Balenciaga, not just no product. They following Sammy. Don't fall for the whammy of the scapegoat. If you know, take this note down. Yom Kippur. All right? And you'll find out why I'm saying scapegoat, which is a Zazilla. All right? Yom, Y-O-M, Kippur. K-I-P-P-U-R. All right, take that note down. They probably planned it knowing everybody who spotted it would try to just ban it, meaning that would be the only thing. People say, oh, I ain't wearing Balenciaga no more. That'd be the only thing people would say. So knowing everybody who spotted it would try to just ban it. And then it's just a matter of time before they try to rebrand it. Get somebody like Nicki Minaj to come model their panties, like Rihanna with Fanny, the savage exile of the Tamil of mans. We are standing in the plot, we are standing in the pot of the God of this planet. You see what I'm saying there, right? Okay, who is Tamala Man? Tamala Man will be one of the gospel singers, okay? I said Rihanna with Fanny, the savage exile. Because you know Rihanna would be the savage and the X, Fanny X. Okay, savage exile of the Tamala Mans. They cut out all that gospel shit, all that. If you really for God, you ain't promoted to the masses. I said we're standing in the pot of the God of this planet. Okay, that's Saint Nick. Okay, God of the Canaanite tribe of Dan. Go look that up. The Canaanite tribe of Dan. And it's obvious it's that time again for the rising of Samson. But now he's more powerful, advanced, and Delilah's enchanting could never stand a chance. He gonna step with a Bible in hand and they slap boxing with God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, without their phalanges. And he came with the clouds and his raining flames on the synagogue of Shaitan for the crimes of humanity. Okay? For all the innocent civilians who died by the hands of these Luciferians and everybody who stand with them. I want their bodies in Jahannam. For all the souls they sold when they vowed and took the obligation to misguide the nation for the sake of getting endowed with a Grammy. Now, this song came out way before Sam Smith and Rihanna did their thing for, It came out months before they did they satanic shit for the Grammy and the Super Bowl. All right? I was already saying for the sake of getting endowed with a Grammy. And then the Grammy comes out, does the most satanic illustration that they could put on, demonstration that they could put on. Okay? So go back to the chorus, and then boom. Then the second verse says, here he comes, Satan claws, light the fire, baby's lost. All right? They've been missing Mr. President involved. Can you tell me, is it logical to think that they got cameras on the walls, on the halls, on the streets of every corner to keep tabs on all the trappers, but these children get kidnapped and they be asking y'all to catch them? Like them satellites for NASA not advanced enough to track them. Amber alert us for why? Please overstand your government hand in the dirt so they quiet. They got technology that can scan the whole earth from the sky, but can't find a vehicle that literally a person described. See, QAnon was trying to tell you, but they purposely got inside it and infiltrated it, reversed their work and just lied. Human trafficking is not a fucking conspiracy. It's a business. Epstein wasn't shit but a fall guy for them big wigs. Most of these celebrities either did the shit or they witnessed it. That's 90% of them guilty. 10% innocent. All right? I know people ain't ready for that yet, but this is the fucking reality. And wasn't the Biden family under investigation for human trafficking? Were they not under investigation? And they ain't gonna blow that up because it ain't Trump family. So it don't fit the narrative of the sheep. You understand? If Trump would have used the word H and T, starting with H and T together, they would have investigated him. You made sure that you thought that he was guilty. But his Biden family been under investigation for months. You understand? About the human trafficking shit. Months. You right? And ain't nobody talking about it or covering it. Why? Why? Exactly. What you think it means when they say trick or treat on Halloween? It's the last verse. What you think it means when they say trick or treat on Halloween? I don't know if some of y'all even knew that their family was under investigation. That's the crazy part. Because I ain't see the Shade Room post nothing about that. But you need the Shade Room work with the Democratic Party. The Shade Room work with Biden and them, so they wouldn't do that. They ain't going to put out the truth. They going to put out what's politics. They all leftism. They ain't on none of the right side. They ain't going to speak on nothing what's really going on. That's why they come to the Shade Room. And they will be coming to the Shade Room again when they need your vote. Because that's coming up in the next few months. They're going to have to move all these gears around to get you prepared. It's not a prophecy. It's just what it is. You understand? To get you prepared for their election and their siphoning of the energy. Electricity or voltage. Okay? I said, so what you think it mean when they say trick or treat on Halloween? And what you think them things up under the Christmas tree symbolically represent? All of the children were killed or got locked in boxes. Depending on which God was dropping and hanging up stockings meant that they was laying out offerings for Baal and his fleet. Why you think they depicted Santa as a pilot? Because he was obviously the leader of people who fly. And it's even illustrated when they show you that he's a god with some wings. Like Baphomet and Malek. And you can go now to Bohemian Grove and you can see that it's so that the owl is king. And see, the owl is just symbolic of some powerful beings, the Nephilim, the fallen angels who devour your seed. The surface of planet Earth is a farm. And guess who the crops? Now listen to these lines. Make you think about all them babies that they fed to the crocs. Make you think about all them babies that they fed to the cops. Make you think about all them babies that they fed to the doctors. Human beings is being hunted and your government knows. And your government got a covenant with devils and Sheol. And that's the lower parts of your world that they haven't told you about yet. Okay? I don't know what it's going to take for people to finally wake up and stop thinking Satan is some shit that everybody made up. No, they're here. And they've been in the shadows for a while. They told you in Revelation that the dragon wants your child. I'm going to read to you. I put this in the book. I'm going to read for you where I get that line you just read from about the dragon wanting your child. That's a reference to Revelation chapter 12 as I extracted an allegorical meaning from that chapter. Revelation 12, dragon and the child, literally is what they call it. So Revelation 12 says what? The woman, the child, and the dragon. All right. Now a great sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and on her head a garland of 12 stars. Then, being with child, she cried out in labor and in pain to give birth. And another sign appeared in heaven. Behold, a great fiery red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 diadems on his head. His tail drew a third of the stars of heaven and threw them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman who was ready to give birth, to devour her child as soon as it was born. Listen, she bore a male child, who was to rule all nations with the rod of iron. This is in Revelation. Did it happen yet? This is in Revelation. Did it happen yet? This is a prophecy. Had it happened yet? No. She bore a male child who was to rule all nations with the rod of iron. What's a microphone? And her child was caught up to God and his throne. Then the woman fled into the wilderness, where she has a place prepared by God, that they should feed her there 1,260 days. All right, so I go to the Satan thrown out of heaven part. And war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angel fought with the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought, but they did not prevail, nor was a place found for them in heaven any longer. So the dragon was cast out, that old serpent, called the devil and Shaitan, who deceives the whole world. Remember the Decepticons, okay? Who deceived the whole world. He was cast to the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Then I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now salvation and strength in the kingdom of our God and the power of his Christ have come. For the accuser of our brethren, who is the accuser? Iblis. This is what they call him, Iblis. Of our brethren who accused them before our good day and night has been cast down. It's the same thing they told you in the Quran. When you read the book of the Quran, it breaks it down too. Y'all give me a hot second. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, so much shit pinned up inside it, like. So you gotta let this shit ride. Yeah. They put you down, nigga, let that shit ride. I ain't come around, nigga, let that shit ride. Your heart ain't where you found it, nigga, let that shit ride. Make your mama proud, nigga, let that shit ride. Hating on your sound, nigga, let that shit ride. You don't do it for the crowd, nigga, let that shit ride. Ever since you was a child, nigga, let that shit ride. Had to figure out how, and you did. Now you fly, now you high, now you buy. Let it ride, let it roll. No matter what happened in this place, you better not ever render over to another motherfucker control over your soul. You know, hard being an angel in the world of devils. Same wings you learn how to fly with, they been trying to sever. Sky not the limit, I ask you project the heaven. How many times we talking shit, nigga, seven? All right, cool. I've been to hell too. Boom. All right, so let's get back to it. My bad, y'all. Now salvation and strength in the kingdom of our God and the power of his Christ have come. For the accuser of our brethren, who accused them before our good day and night, has been cast down. Like I said, that was in the Quran. But he told them, get down from it. You are of the lowly. And they cast who you call Satan out of heaven. Why did he do that? Because he refused to prostrate before Adam, okay, or Zakar, okay, or Kadaman. He refused to prostrate before him. And God was telling him, or Allah was telling him, yo, you got, this is my creation. What are you talking about? He said, yo, these people are made of clay. They're beneath me. And he said, well, you actually of the lowly. You need to get down from it. And they cast him down into the earth plane or the Nesut realm, out of the higher realms, okay? So they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they did not love They did not love their lives to the death. Therefore, rejoice, O heavens, and you who dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and the sea. What do they mean, the inhabitants of the earth and the sea? Well, there are beings that exist within the seas also, not just the fish and the dolphins. No, beneath the seas. You'll find that out if you read the book of Amos. Okay? For the devil has come down to you, having great wrath, because he knows that he what? Has a short time. There go to time again. So is all of this about time? Yes, because it's about time. About time that you know that too. All of it is about time. They said what? In the book, I didn't write it. I just got here. I was born in 98. This book came out 1,000 years before I was born. You know what I'm saying? So what did it say? What? Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and the sea, for the devil has come down to you, having great wrath, because he knows that he has a short time. Where will you find that in the Quran? I'll tell you where you find it. Okay? Because there was a part in the Quran, actually, I don't know if we got time to read all of it, but you go read Surah 15, all right? The chapter 15 of the Quran, and you will find it in chapter 11 also. You'll find ties to it. But you read about it, and it was saying that what? There was a conversation that took place where Satan had to get out, like I was just explaining. And when he had to get out, what did he say? He made a deal with God before he got out. It was like, all right, bet, since you're going to put me out, how about this? I'm going to make sure that everybody that's on the planet, that they going to fall into evil and disobedience. I'm going to make evil disobedience to you. Since you caused me to walk in error, is what he was literally saying. Since you caused me to be in error, I'm going to make sure that all of your people, all your creation will walk in error also, and they'll be in the lowly part of it with me. You understand? And Allah or God was like, all right, bet, cool, I'll give you that deal. If anybody who, rocking with me, they ain't going to follow you no way. But everybody else, fine. If you can get them folks to walk into the lesser world or the demiurge world and be a part of it and invest themselves into it in their hearts and their souls into that demiurge world, then fine, you can have them. Those are your people. You understand? You will have dominion over them. But everybody else, they'll be with me. So what is that? What did he say? He said, yo, you are one of the ones who are deprived. He gave them time. Literally, it's in the Quran. They say, yo, I'll give you a little time. He asked for time for him to go out. He said, give me some time to do this. Give me some time before you cast me into the actual destruction, before you really destroy me or cast me out from these places, these realms. And he said, bet, you got time. And what was the time about? The time was the age of darkness or the age of confusion, for him to test all these people, throw all these things out there for generations to come to make sure that these people's souls didn't elevate or ascend. Humanity will be canceled out because they were not able to meet the mark. And when you don't meet the mark, that becomes a world of what? Sin, transgression. How many people had the How to Love Again book, where I broke it down in the How to Love Again book, that the sin world that you're talking about ain't sin like you evil. No, it's when we say people are being born into sin, you're being born into Suin. Because go look over the ancient Mesopotamian god Sin is. It's literally a god. And Sin was the moon god. Suin or Zuin, as opposed to Zion. Zuin was the lower side, the lowly. Zion or Sion, Mount Sion, 9:144, Revelation 14:4. All right, these were the elevated ones who had reached a certain type of understanding, and they knew that it was deeper than just this carnal shit. You understand? So in Zuin's world or Sin's world, everybody's missing that mark, and that becomes the word sin, which is a transgression. You understand that? Okay, cool. So that's why I was telling you, they say he knows that he has a short time, and that short time period might seem like a long time to you. But remember, they said 1,000 days, okay, will be likened unto you a day here. But it's faster when you're dealing with these types of beings who have a consciousness that's much broader and they're aware of it, okay, because of the types of realms that they've been introduced to. So he knew he had a short time period, or a short what, Bill Gates? A short window. And no windows, what you call equinoxes, they come in and they come out, and you're in a sun cycle of those equinox windows. So go look at the Windows logo and see if you don't see the equinox diagram. Bill Gates. And now he's at war with the sun. Don't ever forget it. They made you forget. Solar geoengineering, warring with the sun to try to keep the moon age or the age of darkness alive. But it's falling. Moonfall. And I break that down in this book also. So the woman persecuted. All right. Now, when the dragon saw that he had been cast to the earth, he persecuted the woman who gave birth to the male child. But the woman was given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness to her place where she is nourished for a time and times and half a time. Time. It's all about time. From the presence of the serpent. So the serpent spewed water out of his mouth like a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away by the flood. But the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened his mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon had spewed out of his mouth. And the dragon was enraged with the woman, and he went to make war with the rest of her offspring, who kept the commandments of God and had the testimony of Jesus Christ. Same type of story. They say, I will make enmity between the woman's seed and your seed. Okay? Thou seed of the woman's seed. Okay, how does the serpent have seed? How did the serpent have seed? Who was the serpent? It wasn't no snake. What are you actually talking about? Who is Nachash? Who is that? And who were they? And those beings were not the same type of enlightened beings, which you call burning ones in translation. And those enlightened beings are Luciferians, the ones who carried that light, the ones who had enough information to lead people astray. Those were the serpents, correct? Okay, well then who are the women? That woman that they're talking about would be Eve. And Eve would be light or life. Okay, the truth, the life, and the way. Eve was the ones who stood on that side of life. And there's a war taking place between. It's been going on for a long time. Okay? So cool. The most important thing to pay attention to is the repetition of the dragon. The dragon is called the devil. Okay? He's called Shaitan. He's called Baal. He's called Beelzebub. That doesn't mean that that's his actual name and tone. It also doesn't mean that you are referring to one person. If you notice, when I speak of Baphomet, I also add on that he has a fleet or beings with him to help you understand that there's some plurality there. Okay? And so here is the last line of the last verse of the song. There's a way to defeat them. Only thing is we don't know how. Rebellion. Guess we didn't know how until now. Okay, this is to say that we, the people, have to rebel against these beings. We have to stand up and actively war with these forces within and without ourselves. Those two forces I mentioned earlier, the Lama or Lamb, okay, Lamb, and the Sabak, Seder or the goat, are still at war. That spell of sleep or Sabak or Sabbath, which means in Hebrew to desist or to rest, that was casted on the masses has to be broken, and people have to stop wandering. Okay, Wandering, around in the land of Nod, O-N-D. They have to start wondering, Wondering, or asking questions again, that they might find their way. And what is that ask? A-S-K, ask, seek, knock. Ask, and the answer shall be given unto you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and the door shall be opened unto you. If you become a traveler, you have to learn that. You understand? But it's also in your biblical scriptures. Okay, a lot of orders actually had to learn that, but in the biblical scriptures you can find that, okay, where it says ASK. Observe and remember my book called Why? That's the question. What are the 7 W's? Those 7 W's are as follows. Why? As my book called Why is a question or crying out to the divine, asking humbly for an answer, it is also an answer within itself, a hidden message. Now, that book came out 2021, August 4th, if I'm not mistaken, August 4th. Yeah, August 4th, 2021 was my first book. All right, Why? W-H-Y, okay? So I said what? The answer to that crying out is hidden within the letters of the word, W-H-Y, using an acronymic encryption. Now I'm breaking down further to you why that book was called that, okay? Why becomes we heard you. Okay, we, your spiritual family, heard your crying out. Yes, we heard your voices. Yes, we heard your soul cries. It's time that you hear ours. Our sheep or lambs know our voices. We have not forsaken you. Now, this is not just me talking. As a matter of fact, when I was writing this book, when I got to this part, I could literally feel maybe it's a little deeper, but I could literally feel my being shaking. This wasn't just me talking. Okay, I got to let you know that. So I'm going to read this part again. Yes, we heard your voices. Yes, we heard your soul cries. It's that time that you hear ours. Our sheep or lambs know our voices. We have not forsaken you. They talking to some of y'all. You are able to realize that we have not forsaken you, as you can still go to the hospital and hear the cries of a mother, and the cries of her newborn baby shall follow. Human beings are still being born. Your creator, your yielder, the universe from whence you came and that you are a part of, has not given up on you. Nature has not given up on you. She still loves you. She actually bargained for you more time because she could have been shifted the poles. She could have been shifted the poles. And the rain of judgment would have come down from what you call the sun. the judgment you can't escape. You can try, and they will try. Okay? So what am I saying? She still loves you. God has not forsaken you. Okay? Earth family. That's why all of these messengers have come. That's why I'm here. There is still what? Time. Same thing they said in that crop circle. There's still time. And so, reader, now you can see that the book I call Why, which was my first book, holds the frequency of a call and response. You can even see in the cover art that there is a portal opening with new life or new water coming into the world. Over my shoulders, you can see a yellow snake that is deceased. Okay, now look, I'm going to show you the actual cover. Now, if you didn't get the How to Love Again book, you probably don't know where this cover came from. But I painted this cover in 2019. Okay, it wasn't originally a cover of a book. Originally, it was a painting from a sipping paint shit that I had did. You feel what I'm saying? And I painted that shadow hour, which wound up being the same. You got to get the book. Ain't anybody going into all that. You got to get the How to Love Again book to get the backstory. I ain't doing all that again. You know what I'm saying? So boom, there go the back. But I put the whole backstory in the How to Love Again book. All the details, who I was with, when I was with them, you know what I'm saying? But you got to get the book for that one. I ain't doing that. All right, cool. And there goes the new heaven and the new earth and the one standing on top of the water coming in, the new water. Okay? You can see it. It's a portal coming in, new life coming in, new water coming in. All right? So pay attention. The being right here, the craft right here, and this yellow snake that's draped over the person in all white with the crown on his head. Well, you look at it, it doesn't look like a crown, but it's the crown on the head. Nobody says it's Kodak. It do look like Kodak on the cap. All right, boom. So that's the cover of my first book. Why? Okay, what does this mean? This means that you will begin to surpass the solar plexus, the yellow, and you will happen upon your new earth, which is the heart chakra, the green. You will travel past the yellow, and so I depicted that the yellow has passed. That's the deceased snake, okay? You will learn to walk on water. You will understand the meaning of walking on water like never before. This was never a literal meaning, okay? When it comes to those who think Jesus literally walked on water, all you have to do is simply ask them if they believe in Jesus. If the answer is yes, and they're saying he performed mysterious works, including that of walking on water, then they should be able to walk on water also, as it's stated in Scripture. They can't avoid this. John 14:12. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do, shall he do also, and greater works than these shall he do. And greater works, not because somebody tried to argue before when I was younger. They were like, but he was but he said we would do greater works, not the same works. I said no. He said y'all be able to do those works also. Let's read it again. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do, shall he do also, and greater works than these shall he do, because I go unto my Father. You understand? The chances are they aren't able to do it, meaning you can't walk on water. But you believe in Christ, right? So if you believe in Christ, you should be able to walk on water if he literally walked on water, because he says you'll be able to do that and more. No, I'm not challenging your belief. I'm telling you somebody is not telling you the truth, and that's your pastors and your preachers and your reverends. They know that's allegory, but they ain't going to tell you that, because then they have to open up the door of masonry, and that's when you learn that most of your pastors and reverends and preachers were Masons, and that they have been sworn under obligation to not utter the sacreds of what it actually is. And people think that Masons took from the Bible. No, the Bible is a Masonic book. You understand? Because the original ones who put these stories together were travelers. And these stories are about travelers and Masonic sciences or esoteric wisdom or information or knowledge that was supposed to be hidden or sacred, kept mystery. And you find that actually in Scripture, all throughout Scripture, that they were saying that they were going to keep a mystery of God from men. The mystery of God would be hidden from men. You understand? So what is that mystery? Exactly. They don't want to tell you that. That's why the pastor, you can't ask the pastor that. They'll tell you to do what all these other people tell you to do. Go within. But they ain't going to say go within. They actually going to tell you to pray. You know, but they ain't going to tell you the answer. They know the answer. Okay. The chances are they aren't able to do it. So does that mean that nobody is worthy and that nobody really believes in Jesus or God the Father? I won't say that. I will say that it's not a literal story, and that is referring to the activation of which is called the Merkaba. Merkaba. Meaning a thing to ride in, or a cart, or a ship. And that ship is referring to the wheels or points along the spine called the chakras. Okay? With the higher understanding of the elements, the water and the air or the wind, you will be able to activate your Merkaba, or walk on water, or go from land, a solid state, onto the water, the liquid state, and onto the air, or gaseous state, to become like gases. And who is gases? Jesus. Who is Jesus? Jesus. Who is Jesus? Are you getting it? You become like Jesus. Or you get me? You elevate in your state, meaning you become elite or enlightened. You will take the straight path up the spine, up the crossroad, the heart chakra, which is the pyramid. Okay? So pira means fire. Literally it does. I'm not making that up. Mid means center or the middle. Okay, boom. So pira, which is fire, and mid, the center. Pyramid. Okay? Matthew 7:13 through 14. Enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. Because, and 14, because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. Do y'all know that's a riddle? Do y'all know that's a secret riddle? That's a sacred riddle, and it's pointing to a structure. Let me show you what that is. I'm going to read it again, and then I'm going to show you the image of what that scripture means, like you've never been told before. Matthew 7:13. All right, enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go therein, or go in thereat. 14, because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. This is what that structure looks like. You understand? That's the wide gate at the bottom. Many are down here. But it's few people that are up here at this capstone where that pineal becomes activated. It's a few people there at this top. All right? So listen to what I say. Hope you caught it. This is literally the description of a pyramid, even a sociological pyramid, where there are few at the top and many at the bottom. Okay? So Matthew 14:27-31, what does it say? But straightway Jesus spake unto them, saying, Be of good cheer, it is I, be not afraid. And Peter answered him and said, Lord, if it be thou, bid me come unto thee on the water. And he said, Come. And when Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked on the water to go to Jesus. But when he saw the wind boisterous, how you gonna see the wind? When he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid and beginning to sink. Okay. He cried, saying, Lord, save me. And immediately Jesus stretched forth his hand and caught him and said unto him, O thou of little faith, wherefore didst thou doubt? What does that have to do with it? What does faith have to do with walking on water? Either you can walk or you can't. You understand? What do these things mean? Because if we supposed to have faith and we should be able to walk on water, okay, well then test your pastor. Test them. Be like, Pastor, you got faith? Yeah. You believe in Jesus? Yeah. Okay, walk on the water. See, only the devil would try to question God. Nigga, I didn't say shit about God or the devil. I asked you these two questions that I could find in your scriptures. And you told me that these things were literal stories, correct? Okay, well then that means that you should be able to do this. Or where is your faith? Where's your faith, Peter? If you got faith, walk on water. Or turn around from this pool pit and tell these people that this is Masonic science. And tell these people that you swore the oath to never tell that. And that's how you received your lodge. You mean my church? Yeah, your lodge. You had a lot of people. And you know you had a lot of people. And you know that you're the Supreme Grand Master in here. And all these people are speculatives and you're the operative. You know that. And you know that they'll never learn what it means. You know this. You feel what I'm saying? Ask them that question though. But I ain't gonna tell you to do it. You know, if you ain't got the heart like that, because you know people don't recover from that. They ain't gonna never forgive you. They gonna teach the rest of your people around you that you the devil, that you done got led astray by some cult person. They ain't gonna tell y'all the truth, y'all. There was no man walking on no damn water. They ain't gonna tell you that. They ain't gonna tell you that what that story meant. Lazarus, all these stories were symbolic. You understand? Now the person, you could be speaking of a group of people like the ones who were called the Yeshuans. Who came to righteous causes to get things in order. Yeah, you could talk about them, but you ain't gonna tell me them niggas was walking on water, because if they did, okay, well, cool, then you supposed to have faith enough to walk on it. Nope. They know better. Okay, so watch this. Peter was not of the Spirit. This is what I put. Peter was not of the Spirit or the Ruach, meaning the knowledge. So he didn't possess the knowledge necessary to navigate. Let's look at the etymology of that word, navigate. Navigate etymology. Late 16th century, in a sense, travel in a ship. From Latin, navigate, sailed. From the verb navigare, meaning from navis or ship, agare, to drive a ship. Okay, watch this. So Peter, stepped out of that ship or comes out of the solid state, but he could not navigate. He was too heavy. Okay, well, what does Peter mean? Who knows? Peter means rock or stone. Rocks and stones do indeed sink when you place them in water. So what does navigate mean? The word navi, if you watch the movie Avatar, you'll see this. They're blue, the waters. Okay? Navi means water. Naval, if you need more. Navy, naval, whatever. Navy is water. And gate, G-A-I-T, means to walk. Walk on water means to navigate. And this is a Masonic science also, because the first navigational systems was the what? The compass. And what do you see in the Masonic emblem? The square and the compass. Did I lose anybody? Okay, so navigation itself is a Masonic concept because you have to learn how to travel. And you had to travel foreign territory, which was the waters, which is a different type of information than it is on land. Okay, meaning it's beyond what's just documented. Because if you were meant to dock on it, you would have, but you weren't meant to dock on it. Which is when them boats come and land or touch land. That's a document. That's when you were born. You know what I mean? They had to document you because you docked. You came through the birth canal and you touched land through the waters. You feel me? All right, bet. Peter, couldn't walk on water as he had fear of that spirit or the wind. So he went back down into the liquid state and made his way back to the ship to go back to the solid. He did not become a supreme grand master. Y'all hear me? He didn't rise up beyond the heart chakra. He went back and rested, which means he what? He fell into Sabbat or Sabbath, meaning to rest, not to be active. This breakdown can help you understand why Peter is called Satan by Jesus, because Peter, meaning rock or stone, was too heavy, and he opposed the law of the divine, that vine you climb to ascend in frequency. Now, did Jesus not call Peter Satan? Literally told us that, hey, nigga, get behind me, Satan. Okay, that means opposition when he wasn't up there. Qualify the statement that many are called, but few are chosen. Why is the word lama in Hebrew? I said you have not been forsaken and will not be forsaken if you remember to not fall asleep. Sabbat. Okay? Recall the message that was left here for you in the Bible in the book of Matthew chapter 26 verse 41. Watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. What I tell y'all, they can't teach people who are Christians if they haven't read the Bible. Simple. You cannot teach Muslim people about any type of science if you have not read the Quran. Simple. You don't know about the sciences that are in their books to be able to make the dots connect, which means that you would have had spent more time than just a few months on social media. You would have spent years studying this stuff to be able to show people how all these things connect. And you can't just Google it on the drop of a dime. You got to actually know these things. Okay? So it's all here. Now let me show you how it breaks down. Okay? You don't fall into temptation. The spirit is indeed willing. All right? But the flesh is weak. Okay? So recall the context of that scripture that the disciples, those who were being taught discipline, is in the word disciple, discipline, were being taught not to fall asleep. They were being told not to rest. Sabbat. Okay? The spirit is willing. This is meaning that the higher you or Yahayu, called Yahayu, Yahayu, go look at the word, Yahayu. Okay? Meaning all living, the life ones. Okay? Yahayu, okay? Haya mean Hayu or life, has, when activated, the willpower or the power of will. However, the flesh, which is the lower you, is weak. When you are led by the body, not the soul, you have fallen into temptation. When the temptation conquers your being, you will at that point have a body that opposes God or your higher you. You will no longer have the body of Christ or the Christ body soul activated. In its place will exist the body of Satan, the temple of Shaitan. Are you with me? So when I say temptation, let me show you the breakdown of that. Temptation. You see temptation, temple of Shaitan. It's all there. That's why I'm here, because it's all there already. Temptation. Fall not into temptation. You're breaking it down. Do not fall asleep or into sabbatic. Don't go into sabbatic. You're supposed to get active. Temptation. Temple of Tashan. Temple of Shaitan. Okay, boom. This is the secret meaning of Baphomet. When you take the name or the word and you spell it backwards, you will see 3 abbreviated words. Those words are, and just to show you, I'm not making it up. This is actually Knights Templar doctrine, by the way, or knowledge. Knowledge of the Templars. I studied that also. Okay. Tim, Ob, Ab. Temple, Omnium, Homnium, Pax, Abba. All right, but what does it mean? These words are Latin words that say Father of the Temple. Yeah, all this is in the books. I'm actually reading one of my books right now. This is the Out of the Darkness book. I got 9 books, but this is one of them. Okay? These words are Latin words that say Father of the Temple. The temple is the body. Baphomet is the Father, Abba, Baba, or the God of the body. The soul, or the anointed being, as it is commonly known to be, is the body of God. You with me? This is literally, like this, all this shit is true. The God of the body, that's Baphomet. That's the lower self. The body of God is your higher self. I mean, I could, you can't make it up. Human beings will have to choose which force they will align with. We, the messengers, have only been able to advise that the human beings don't allow for the body to win or to conquer. We have advised through all of the esoteric, exoteric teachings of both old and new that the human beings don't allow lust to dominate the spirit. That is where the bulk of the corruption has come from concerning humanity. Many perversions have arisen due to the conquering of the soul by the flesh, the body. Okay, what does it say? Romans 8:7. Okay, what does it say? Because the carnal mind is enmity against God. What mind? The carnal mind, or the mind that is associated with the body, the reptilian brain is what we say. The carnal mind is enmity against God. Okay, so enmity is also utilized when they speak of the enmity of the serpent and the woman's seed, death versus the life. The serpent and the woman's seed having a war, which means that there's another type of woman or being operating, not the one that was originally there, which is Lilith, and I'll bring that around in a second, okay? For it is not the subject to the law of God, or excuse me, not subject to the law of God, neither indeed can be. So then they that are in the flesh cannot please God. But ye are not in the flesh, but in the spirit, if so be that the spirit of God dwell in you. It's all sciences, okay? We must come out of the darkness. We have to prepare for the new world order that we, the people, are responsible for. We have to fight for the true light. They who are the dark ones are preparing to fight to revitalize the age of darkness. We, the elect, cannot allow them to succeed. Their age of darkness, or their AD, is already fallen, and they know it. Another way to see that same AD, or Anno Domini, is an announcement of who was still in control in the whole of the world up to this point in time. He that was still in control is called Bab or Set or Shaitan. That is the Lord that they who laid out the statement, the year of our Lord, were referring to. Bab had his or their tower set up on the earth. This is the meaning of Babylon. Isn't this good news to hear that Bab's pylon is fallen, is fallen? Don't sound familiar? That's the reason why I wrapped all that around back, by the way, to show you back to the Revelation chapter 14. Right? Revelation chapter 14:8. And there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. They, Hollywood, released a movie on February 4th, 2022, which is what? 24222, which is 2 plus 4 equals 6. 222 equals 6, and the O that's in the 2022 is the letter O, which is 15, and that becomes 6. 1 plus 5, and that's 6. If you think I'm just making that up, that's literally the breakdown I gave for you. You understand? And that's when the Moonfall movie came out. All right, that movie was called Moonfall. This alludes to the fall of the moon cycle. Note that Set is also represented as a moon god, as is Sin, which is one of the names of one of the gods, like I told you. An actual god that appears in ancient Mesopotamian recordings. So the 6,000-year rule of the beast is up. We are currently in that godly year, the 7-year, 2023, 2 plus 2 plus 3, that's a 7. And the sun cycle is heating up. The moon cycle, or the time of Luna, meaning moon, a time where the world was ruled by lunatics. Okay, what is Luna? The moon. And what is the ticks? Time period. So when I say lunatics, when the world was crazy or disorderly, that's lunatics, the time of the loon, and it's already over. Okay? The moon is also referred to as, in secret, Hilal or Hillel. Hillel is the Arabic word for a crescent. This is where the Islamic symbol for the moon comes from. They, the shadow elite, put the 5-pointed star in that symbol to represent Hilal, who is also known as Baphomet. That Islamic symbol was used to confuse people. When you look at the Islamic symbol of the star and crescent, which is right here, when you look at that symbol, if y'all can see it, I don't know if this shit gonna focus. Boom. Right? I said you can see that the star is on the wrong side of the moon. Stars are much greater in size than the moon, and therefore you would not be able to see that star from Earth unless the moon wasn't behind that star. That 5-pointed star is symbolic of the 5 P's alluded to by the pillars of Islam, okay? Which becomes what? Shahada, your Salat, your Zakat, your Zawm, your Hajj, okay? That's the profession of faith, the prayer, your alms, your fasting, your pilgrimage. 5 pillars of Islam, okay? So yet, the actual 5 P's, as Dr. Malachi Z. York teaches in his book, The Holy Tablets, that the organizers of the religion of the order of Luna, the moon, Yamaya or Yahar or Baphomet use are as follows. P, polytheism, politics, psychology, philosophy, or the penal or prison or punishment. Okay, so all that's the same thing, penal, prison, punishment. Those are their 5 P's, and that's how they run their world. So those 5 P's from the pentagram, if you look at it, 5 P's, points on the pentagram, the symbol, these 5 P's form the pentagram. The symbol these beings use to carry out their works, okay, by way of their god or their guide, called who? Zuen or Suen. Are you with me? Now watch this. Who is tied to Intone Diana or Diana, the goddess of the moon, whose symbol is also the crescent moon, as is Baphomet. So Baphomet is connected to the word or name, what? Sophia, who you see on the screen right here, Sophia. All right? Meaning wisdom. Sophia is also the name of the woman who claims to have been the original author and creator of the movie called The Matrix. Many people have even suggested that she is the oracle character in the movie, a character who perceivably lives up to her name as she mysteriously offers words of wisdom as well as insightful advice to the main character called Neo, an anagram of the word O-N-E, one, to emphasize that that character is the one. All right, now you find the one in the demiurge. Take a note of this, mental note of this, that the one is spoken about in the demiurge also. Okay, boom. Okay. The one who will escape the jaws of the Matrix, a deceptively blissful yet grave simulation guarded and ran by artificial conscious beings called sentinels, which means sentience, okay? Like these conscious beings have figured out how to be, or AI as you call them. They're going to call them ACs eventually, if they're not starting already. Not AIs anymore, it'll be ACs, okay? And that he would free the minds of the human beings who are trapped in that falsified reality. Sophia's whole name is Sophia Stewart. Sophia, meaning wisdom, and Stewart, meaning a guardian of. Okay? I myself would hear people mention this lady throughout the years, and there was wonder about who she really was and if she might be a key to this whole game playing out in this world we are experiencing. There eventually came around an audio-oriented app that I mentioned earlier on called Clubhouse. She was invited on a certain number of times. I attempted to make contact with her on 3 of those occasions. I said the first time she got on the app, she was set to speak on an evening at 7 p.m. I remember taking a nap prior to that evening or prior to that event, as I planned to have ample energy to be able to properly gauge her in the spirit. My alarm went off at 6:30 p.m. and I was up and prepared for that event. As soon as 7 p.m. comes around, and I'm not making this up, this is just reality. If you were there, you probably remember that. The whole app seemingly glitches. Okay? I thought my Wi-Fi connection might have been interrupted somehow, but that wasn't the case, as my computers and all other devices were still connected and they were all working just fine. I kept rebooting my phone as well as the Clubhouse app itself. Nothing worked. Turns out there was a technical problem with the app itself, and so she was not able to speak with the people. Okay? The second time around, I was unaware that she was on the app, and so I missed that one because I joined that call at the last minute and had no time to speak with her. The third time came around, and I just so happened to stumble across that event on the app. Remember, when people like Ye came on the app, nobody want to tell Faise. People like Sophia Stewart came on the app, nobody want to tell Faise. Umar Johnson popped up, ain't nobody want to tell Faise. The nigga Young Pharaoh popped up. I had to find out through somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Actually, I think I stumbled across that. I came on later, and they was doing a branch off room, and I found out that he was on the app. Nobody don't want to tell me when these big names, all the people coming on the app, Brother Polite, nobody want to tell me. You understand? They kept it to themselves. They like, oh, whatever you do, don't let this nigga find out. You understand? Because they ain't want me in the rooms, because they know as soon as I get to asking questions, standing in front of somebody, we gonna see if you really are who you say you are. Just because. My brother Garfield Bright, who's a part of the group Shy, he called me the litmus test. He said I was the diamond tester. You feel what I'm saying? I was in one of his dissertations. As a matter of fact, you can go read the dissertation if you're interested in stuff like that, where you go type in Garfield Bright and type in Omari Hargrove. Okay, and you will see that I'm one of the dissertations. It was him, Killer Mike, some other people. They had did a dissertation. But they said Garfield was like, bro, he said, anytime I done experience where you meet somebody, if they are not who they say they are, you gonna be the one who expose it. Because when they meet you, it's like they like frozen solid. Oh shit. It's some real shit standing in front of me. Yeah, I thought you said you was real shit though. It's a mirror turned on them and they can't do nothing about it. So they call me the diamond tester. So you know what I'm saying? You want to know if any one of these motherfuckers is on what they say they on, tell them to do a live with me. They won't last 5 minutes. All that cap. You know what I'm saying? Let me get back off that horse. Come back down to talk to y'all. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I say. Okay, cool. So the third time came around and I just so happened to stumble across that event. They didn't want to let me know. There were already people who were asking her questions and receiving answers. I waited my turn. When I finally had the chance to speak, I spoke to her in the spirit and asked that she received what I was saying with her in the spirit, with her spirit. I explained to her about how long I had been trying to get in contact and communicate with her. I explained about all of the glitches and the holdups and all the coincidental happenings that led up to that moment of us finally being able to share words. I explained to her briefly about who I am and why I am and how I came to be and how that character called Neo is me. I opened the door to the plans I have for the future concerning my becoming a celebrity. Back then I had like 20,000 followers, maybe 20,000. This was a year or something ago, or maybe 2 years ago. All right. But I opened the door to the plans I had for the future concerning my becoming a celebrity in order to be able to send out the powerful shockwaves that are necessary for the impact of the true light to be made on a grand scale. She listened, but she did not hear me in the spirit. She responded dismissively, saying there was no need for me to be a celebrity, just believe and focus on positive things, and all these other statements that the spiritual community, and I put them in quotations, people tend to make to fill in the gaps. Of course, this caused me to scratch my head a little bit. I had already been unimpressed by the teachings of hers. This is just me laying it out. I'm sorry, shit tends to slip. I had already been unimpressed by the teachings of hers. I was not and still not have been able to see what it was or what it is that she teaches that the Matrix didn't cover, either implicitly or explicitly. When everybody talking about, yo, she the one who did it, I don't get it. I don't see the hype. I don't listen to this lady talk. I just don't get it. What is it? Maybe because if you could say black woman, that's what gets people. The same way black man gets people. But I ain't heard shit. So I was like, already I was unimpressed by it. But I like, fuck it, let me walk past that veil and see let me see where her spirit at. You feel me? So when the fourth Matrix movie, this was the one that took the cake. When the fourth Matrix movie came out, called Matrix Resurrections, she advised people not to watch it, saying that it had nothing to do with the actual purpose of the original idea and that they were just throwing things together with no story. However, when I watched the movie, this is what I wrote. When I watched the movie, it actually made 100% sense to me, and I was able to follow along. The bottom line is I do not feel that people like Sophia Stewart are actually woke. I think people like her only play the part of being awakened. And if there is true wisdom to be expressed about this matrix, either she doesn't fully understand it, or she does and she is not revealing it, because if one had never heard of Sophia Stewart and they only happened upon the Matrix movies, they could still walk away with a deeper understanding about the world they exist in. We did not need to know who this lady was. The fact that she was unable to receive me also adds to this conclusion of mine when it comes to her. But this part of the book is not meant to demonize her. I got to make it clear. The person. Okay, I said this part of the book is not meant to demonize her, the person. This part of the book is meant to explain that there are events that appear as mere people that, if people who are seeking light are not careful, can throw a seeker off and pull them into a paradigm of thought that doesn't actually serve them. This is why it is important to me that I point out to you that the name or word Sophia is actually translated to the name or word Baphomet when you use what is known as the Atbash cipher. Now, a lot of y'all probably didn't know that, but Sophia means, it is the Baphomet word, using the Atbash cipher. That's one of the like super key codes, right, when it comes to breaking stuff down. So the Atbash cipher, sometimes referred to as the Atbash code, was a code that was created to hide messages using, originally this is what it was for, using the letters of the Hebrew alphabet. To date, right, which you would really say Ibri Aleph better, okay? To date, people also use this cipher to encode the English alphabet also. The key to cracking the code is to be aware of how it is applied. The code works by writing out the alphabet in its original order. For example, if you were to use the English language, you would write out the foundation for your key as, and I illustrated it in the book, so you don't just hear me saying stuff. This is what the code would look like. I said you would then write out another line, so from A to Z, and then you would then write another line with the same letters in a reverse order. Okay, so that's how you start the code out. Okay, and actually anagrams. So simply, if we were to write out Baphomet with the Hebrew letters, we would end up with Be, Pa, Va, Mim, Tav. Okay, if we were to use the Atbash cipher on that word, we would end up with Shin, Va, Pe, Yod, Alif. And I actually wrote it out so you don't got to just hear me saying it. All right? That's how it would look. Okay? But when you reverse it, it would be this. So I put the letters that you will be actually looking at in red so as to not confuse you. Okay? So that forms the word what? Sophia. All right? So Baphomet becomes this word right here. Sophia. All right, boom. Which is the word Sophia. Baphomet, being of the lunar or the moon, is not a fast enough way of thought for the day and time we are in. I want to also point out that what I just broke down to y'all, I also didn't make that up. This is Knights Templar information. You understand? So I didn't make that up. You can go and find that. Okay? But again, everybody be so scared of people or scared of never really go learn what they talking about. They might Google it a second. No, you got to be amongst these motherfuckers to really learn what they learn and know what they be on. But it's some shit you can find. You will find that Sophia is Baphomet and that they hide these characters in each other's name, in each other's names. All right, cool. But I'm going to break it down further. That ain't where it stop at. Strap up. Baphomet, being of the lunar or the moon, is not a fast enough way of thought for the day and time we are in. Do not be fooled by the association of Sophia or Baphomet with wisdom. I make sure I put that in all caps. Do not be fooled by the association of Sophia or Baphomet with wisdom. The wisdom of Sophia or Sophia's wisdom is truthfully the biggest mystery of all, and therefore it was kept in the dark. And the world has been unaware of that divine true light. It is this being of quote unquote darkness called Sophia that has been pushed forth as the preeminent wisdom of all wisdom. This being Baphomet, who appears with the hindquarters of a beast, okay, which is the goat, a hermaphrodite or hermaphroditic torso of a human being and a head of a beast, goat. The biggest issue with that being is that the head is yet an animal. And so most of the being is an animal. So not just the torso or the bottom half, the head is also an animal. Okay? This is what happens when the false light takes over. the animalistic nature of the human being becomes dominant, and that human being is led further into darkness, perceiving that darkness to be the true light, but it is the light of the moon, which is the lesser light and not the greater light. Do y'all get what I'm explaining? That greater light comes from the sun. Okay? So the people who are sucked into this deception are bound to go backwards by night, which means that they're not what? They will not be able to come forth by day. Sophia fell from the higher ranks. This is really the story of the demiurge. Sophia is the name of one of the people in the demiurge story. Okay? Main character. So Sophia fell from the higher ranks. Sophia fell from grace, literally. She set up this lower world, which yielded the demiurge world of chaos and disorder. The demiurge, meaning the semi, or half of human beings that work off of urges or impulses, without a shadow of a doubt, must be conquered. Human beings will not be able to ascend without becoming light beings fully, abandoning the animalistic nature altogether, which is why they said the carnal mind or the reptilian brain cannot please God. If you think that means that you cannot please God, which is supposed to be some spirit floating around, right, then whether you Christian, spiritual, whoever, you'll still be confused. Spiritual people think they're doing something by shutting the idea down altogether, and the Christian people, you'll just be misled. It's speaking about some activity in your body and the God body, the soul that you have, which is why they talk about the kingdom of God being within. The kingdom of God, not God's kingdom, that's totally different. But the kingdom that is of God is a whole different conversation. That's you, the inner you, all right? But it can only be activated that way without the reptilian brain taking over, okay? So that's a higher science. So what? I said they have to become light beings fully, abandoning the animalistic nature altogether. Come out of her, my people. All right? Turn away from who? Lilith, when we saying her. Lilith, another being associated with Sophia of the dark world. This being, Lilith, her name meaning night creature or night walker or belonging to the night, is one who feeds off the lust of human beings. Who saw the TV series, Lucifer? Who saw that? If you didn't watch it, I'll tell you to go watch it. Okay? Watch the TV series Lucifer. They put a lot of gems in there. Okay? And Lilith and Maze and all these people, they're like sexual beings. Right? Overly sexual beings. And that's what they feed off of. The lust, the destruction, the chaos. And you feel me? All her children were the ones who they would call the demon children, the demon seed. They were night crawlers. You feel me? All these stories are saying the same thing, y'all. Okay? So she's one who feeds off the lust of human beings. These fallen angels know in their hearts that they have fallen, and instead of correcting their own errors and rising above the iniquities, they would rather cause all others to be in error with them, just like it said in the Quran. Okay? Just as it was written, exactly, in the Holy Quran, that Iblis fell and was of the lowly. Low. Y'all with me? Not high. Lowly. Being that he was of the lowly, he was casted out thus. He went on to make a deal with God, Allah, as I explained to y'all earlier. That deal included a statement that he, Iblis, would cause mankind to be in error also. I don't want you to see Iblis as a mystical singular entity. I want you to know that there are countless beings that hold the frequency of Iblis. Okay? Including beings likened unto and related to Lilith, the night beings. Do you see? I said the whole world was deceived. There was, in the beginning, as it was recorded to be the beginning of a new era, the Amun or the Amun, which was the hidden one. That name was coupled with the word Ra, all right, meaning the sun or the light. The sun or light represented purity and ascension. That ascension was to take place within so that it might be reflected onto the world without. There was a time when the most of the people were indeed people of the sun or Ra. They had their crowns atop their head, which was symbolic of the capstone that allowed for the glow or the hue to be emitted. These people were, the most of them, the enlightened peoples who moved not off of impulse and lust, and they overstood the dangers of doing so. They clothed themselves fully, and they became the Elohim, or the Neteru, or the heavenly host. Okay? The people who followed them sought out to be like them, or made in the image and after the likeness of them. Okay? The Elohim. They, too, clothed themselves and understood why it was important to behave in a godly manner as opposed to an impulsive, animalistic manner. Their clothing was not put on because of shame. Their garb, that all-white garment of righteousness, was one of composure and power. There then came a time of rebellion, as some of the beings of that new era chose to do away with the ways of the godly or the highly ones, and they became of the lowly. They took off their clothes and left the communities of righteousness, called the gardens of Eden, or the terrestrial paradises. As they journeyed or fled into the distant lands, they each stripped away their clothing and allowed themselves to be consumed by the forces of lust, pleasure, and desire. I said they engaged in orgies and Kama Sutra with the animals and even with the children. They had all become corrupt, meaning their core, which is their heart, had been ruptured. There was evil in their hearts, and so in their minds was found evil also. So you're hearing the core is ruptured. So there's evil in the core, or evil in the heart, all right, or destruction in the heart. So what is that a reference to? Genesis 6:5. And God saw the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. I said they set up a separate world among the distant lands, and they became the wanderers in the land of Nod. The word Nod in Hebrew means to wander. These beings who fled, the word Nod in Hebrew means to flee. So not Nod. Nod, N-O-D, they have Nod. Okay? Nod and Nod. Nod means to flee, and Nod means to wander. Okay? So watch what I'm doing here. The word Nod or Nud would be how you say it. The word Nud in Hebrew means to flee. Began to worship. I said these beings who fled began to worship a new deity. Who can see where I'm going with this? You have Nud, the land of Nod. These people took off their clothes. They started to worship a new deity. All right? Under a new way of life. And that new deity was called Lilith, as she belonged to the night light, the moon called Luna. This new deity encouraged these people to practice what? Nudity. Nudity. The lesser part of their being took over. They were consumed by darkness. Nudity. Okay? They were consumed by darkness is what this thing means. So people knew this. And now there's another epidemic taking over called sensuality, which is just nudity. It's just nudity. That's what it is. But they don't want to say that. That's all it is. People are promoting it as if it's some sacred practice. It's not. It's the same shit. These are the same people. It's the same story. Yo, take off more clothes and move more in what you're trying to disguise as sensuality, but it's really just lust. That's what it is. You know, you're not helping. But hey, you do what you do. The world you are in now was built by the descendants of these lost people, the wanderers of the land of Nod, or Wonderland. We, the messengers, are calling you once again out of the matrix, out of the darkness, out of her or out of Hara. Okay? Because when we're saying her or Hara, okay, you can hear it harder. Come out of her and come out of Hara. All right? Which I'm teaching you from the Rosicrucian order sciences also, which is the bowels of the body or the gut. So come up out of her. We are calling for you lost angels and fallen angels to be renewed. Okay, so who is her? Her is Sophia and Lilith, the lower body or the her. Okay, Hara. That's who her is. And Sophia was accredited to the being who fell from grace, and she created a new world out of destruction and chaos and disorder and lust. And that's the story. I didn't make this up. Okay, I hear what you're saying too, Hara. That's a good one too, because that's dealing with darkness and red, and I like that one. Okay. So watch this. We are calling for you lost angels and fallen angels to be renewed. Recall the events involving and surrounding the celebrity who is called Black China. Black China emerged from the black into the white and was transformed or renewed in front of the masses. Her real name is Angela Renee White. Renee means to be born again or renewed. Renee, renewed. That's what it literally means, by the way. I am releasing, what's going on, Caution? I am releasing all negative energy that is holding me back, that came from Angela. Okay? She was able to realize that the association of Baphomet with the beast, and that therefore the tattoo that she had of Baphomet was literally the mark of the beast. Okay, I am bringing this up to point out that this realm is expressing that the reversal of the mark of the beast is in progress. And it's just like I have been explaining to the masses. This year, 2023, is the year that people, if they open their eye to look, will be able to see a lot more popping off around the harlots of Hollywood. Okay? Here are more of decoded breakdowns of that event called Black China. Black China's mother, called Shalana Hunter. Shalana becomes what? Selena or Shalina. Selena. Say, Luna. See, Luna. Or behold, Luna. Or behold, the moon. Which that word moon is Luna. That brings you to the Lena, meaning light. So Luna will be the lesser light. Okay? And the hunter is somebody who hunts. So the lesser light, Baphomet, one who appears with the moon symbols, or Sophia or Lilith, all right, is being hunted. You understand? So Sophia, Lilith, Black Jenna turns into White Janna, which Janna means what? Jenna, as in jinn, is a type of being usually associated with the evil beings who roam in the lesser realms and are also referred to as imps. And Janna, as in Arabic or Arabic, is the heaven or the paradise or the garden. Are you understanding? So here's the image of what that is. That was Black China preparing for what y'all saw with the Baphomet removal and all of that, when she was baptized. Okay? Born again. You must be born again. Okay? That's the concept of the children movie, by the way. She goes from the state of the jinn to that of an angel or angel, where she comes with the good news, the etymology of the gospel, instead of the ghost spell. And the light, the laser, are you with me, was used to delete Baphomet. Actually, it happened in front of the masses. If you were there to watch it, you saw Baphomet literally being attacked with light. The laser was etching his ass out. Okay? So the light or the laser was used to delete Baphomet from her temple. She denounced the demiurge and gave thanks to the God of the true light, reclaiming her angelic self that her mother said was taken by the Church of Shaitan, called by the commoners the Illuminati. Okay? Now, am I saying that Black China turned into a saint or any of that? No. I'm telling you to look at the event so you'll be able to read what's being said, not the person. I don't know her. Don't care to. But I'm telling you that when this stuff happens, you're supposed to be able to read it to see what's going on. Because everything been pointing from black into white. Right? Okay, cool. So this is to signify the importance of reclaiming your soul over your body. She went on to the Tamron Hall show to speak more of her transformation. What is Tamron Hall Day exclusive? What does that mean? Tam is a word meaning twin. Run means ruler. And day as in light. And of course the exclusive would be the exo. Okay? Twin, ruler, light, exo. Tamron Day exclusive. Okay? So who are the twin rulers? Who are the twin rulers where one is dealing with the exo light that is outside of the self and the other is dealing with the eso light that is inside the self? These are twin rulers, or the twins that people need to learn to figure out who's ruling what. You will only be able to make these connections with an esoteric and exoteric understanding to be able to know and see the difference clearly. That is the ear, or the ER, that you have to be able to hear. I have therefore called this ear the third ear, as it is an ear that operates beyond the two ears we as human beings possess. Yet that ear is still an ear that hears on both sides, from twin paradigms. And those twins are named Exo-Eric and Eso-Eric. You know what I'm saying? Exalt Eric, or Exo, hold in high regard the external ruler. What does the word Eric mean? It means ruler. Okay? I hope y'all listening. Outside the self, without, not within. God who is to be called on for aid. And the esoteric, or esoteric, hold in high regard the eternal ruler inside oneself, within, not without. God who is to be summoned from inside. Okay? Yeah, Eric means ruler. So watch this. Y'all see he said Eric? You see Eric White? And we talking about the white and the light? Y'all see that? He said, I'm Eric. Yeah, Eric White. You see the Eric and the white. And that's the ruler of light. If you were to read it, if you wanted to. You feel what I'm saying? Okay, cool. So Matthew 6:24. No man can serve two masters. All right? For either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. Ye cannot serve God and Mammon. Remember, Mammon brings you to the word money, which brings you to the word Mona, which means moon. Black China called out to thank God, which was Exo, one of the twin rulers. The point is, Baphomet is falling right alongside Babylon because Baphomet is Babylon. Okay, come out of Black Jenna or Black China status and come into the Angelica renewed white status. Okay, come out of her, my people. I have been traveling for a long while, going from door to door. I knocked 3 times, long enough that you might hear it wherever you are in your temple. You will know that it is me because you will feel the need to open your door. That knock is a call. You might feel the need to call out. You will feel the need to say the words aloud in question form. Who is it? The answer is in the question. If you read it backwards, it is who. Who am I? I am who I am. People say, they think, I am who I am. No, he said, I am who. I am who I am. Not I am who I am. I am who I am. No, I am who. That's who I am. You understand? And you know who. You just may not remember. Yet, when I respond and say, open says me, remember everybody say, open says me, open says me, as I am the opener, if that door remains closed and you have no time for me, I will not bother you. I will carry on. Are y'all listening? Y'all know I'm not reciting this, right? This is my writing. So I'm going to read that little part again. You will feel the need to say the words aloud in question form. Who is it? The answer is in the question if you read it backwards. It is who. Who am I? I am who I am. And you know who. You just may not remember. Yet, when I respond and say, open says me, as I am the opener, if that door remains closed and you have no time for me, I will not bother you. I will carry on. Does that, do you understand why I wrote that like that? Now, who is the opener? The opener is a being by the name of Ta. And Ta is tied to another being that is hidden and sacred. And that is a being called Hu. So when you look at the word Te, Hu, Ti, those are 3 beings. But it operates as one person because there was a person that went by that being. But he had 2 beings with him that people didn't know who it was. And that was Hu, which was a feminine force of creation. And Ti, there was another Ti, there was a hidden Ti that nobody knew about. And that was Tefnut. You understand? And that's a whole different conversation. Ties you to the primordial waters. Okay, and then you have Te, Hu, Ti. Hu becomes the breath of life, like Shu. Okay, and Hu is the creation form. So when he says who, I am who. Do you remember who I am? No, you don't remember who I am because I am who. But after you remember, then you'll remember that you are who I am. That's the only way you'll open up because the sheep know the voice. You understand? Because you'll stand on one side versus the other, the light side of the tile. So Ta, or Teudi, or Ta, Teo, Thoth, all right, is the opener. And we knock 3 times. And those 3 knocks are for your pineal activation. And when you hear us, it's happening already. When you hear us speak, you're activating that. The pineal is a mystery. Don't let nobody else make you think that they just overstand it completely. Pineal remains a mystery because you're dealing with thought, and thought is a mystery. You understand? But you can pinpoint it and see what happens when you activate it, and the activation is going to be different for other people. But when you hear our voice, you already know. You know that we hear, and you know why we hear. It ain't something that you got. That's why some of y'all just heard my voice. You might not have known. I don't know how you came across me, but you came across me and was like, you know what? This one. And that's how you knew. And now we here, right? And we've been walking for a while. Okay, keep walking. Because I'm knocking and I'm going door to door. And after that voice travels and carries, everybody who heard it, they had the opportunity. They heard it. They can't say that they didn't hear it. You understand? That don't mean you got to come out and open the door, but you heard the voice. All right? So why? Yes, we heard you. Lambs crying out as the wolf approached the herd or the herd. Okay, we heard your cries. Now can you hear the voice of the shepherds as we approach with the staff in hand, which is the punctuation symbol that is known as the question mark. Remember I told you got to be wanderers again. You got to learn Lama. Lama is the Hebrew word that means why, right? Okay, you got to learn what it means to ask why. The 7 W's. The 7 W's is the secret number. The 7 is that question mark. If you draw the 7, all right, go study Yod, all right, the letter in Hebrew, right, which they say that was just Yod. It was a German word, Yod. They don't know the sacred of what they're saying. So the question mark becomes 7. The Yod operates like the 7. These numbers and these things are hidden sacreds. for you to be able to learn. Why does it tie you to the G or the God? Well, because that's the part of yourself, the consciousness that has a variable active, that when you start asking questions, things start making more sense. Answers come to you. So if you look at the question mark punctuation symbol, if some of y'all would type in the question mark punctuation symbol for visual representation or for visual purposes, somebody type the question mark. You look at that symbol, you will see what the shepherds use, which is the staff, okay, to guide the sheep. You with me? And the sheep are the llama. And the llama is the why, the question. Are you hearing me? Okay. So that is a question you will answer with your actions. Our sheep or lamb know our voices, as I have stated earlier on. Do not feel bad that I use the word sheep, as I too am a sheep or a lamb or a scientist of the realm, one who is humble enough to hypothesize and to wonder as opposed to wonder, so that I might find the answers, so that I never have to wander among the lost. Okay? I can know the truth and be made free. So can you. So I knock. I said, so as I knock 3 times, you will know that it's time to answer. You will hear 3 knocks on the temple, and you will cast down your fishing poles and your saws and your hammers and your hatchets, and you will pick up your cross and you will carry on with me. 3 knocks are all it takes. 3 is the mystery, the great mystery of the great one. Awareness, wisdom, and power. Okay? Hermes Trismegistus. Okay? Hermes thrice great. Okay? So you have Faise One. Faise One, the sword of resolution, the separator. So watch this. Separator of good and evil. Matthew 25:31. When the Son of Man shall come in his glory and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory. And before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them from one another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats. And he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left. John 10:27. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. And I give unto them eternal life, and they shall never perish. Neither shall any man pluck them out of my hand. Am I claiming to be Jesus? No, I'm not claiming to be Jesus. I'm telling you, reminding you, if you had to read what was going on, why Faise One is here, could you do it? If you had to read what I am and why I exist and what the time period would be and how long I'll be here, could you do it? Could you look at what's happening and why I stand off by myself, and could you see it? Or does it take for me to be gone and then you realize it? You understand? I'm not calling myself Christ or Jesus or none of that. I don't have to. I shouldn't have to, because you should be able to look at it regardless of what I call myself and see what's happening. You feel what I'm saying? Those who heard me, heard me. It's time for change. Time is change, okay? Time is change, or the interval over which change occurs. It is impossible to know that time has passed unless something changes. You can feel time speeding as this world goes from the darkness or the slower frequencies into the light, okay, which is the faster frequencies. Michael said it best in his song titled, Remember the Time, okay? Don't forget about the time. It's not a question. It's a statement. Remember the time. It's an imperative. Remember the time. Don't forget about the time. Just like the white rabbit, you too are to observe time. As you are in the year 2023, the year of the rabbit. Pay attention to time. I'm late. I'm late for a very important date. No time to say hello, goodbye. I'm late. That's in Alice in Wonderland. The white rabbit was running and trying to keep up with time. You understand? I'm telling you, it's all here. Time is one of those concepts that give people, if they are willing to pay enough attention to even just the idea of the phenomenon, an inside look at the mysterious reality that is referred to as our consciousness interacting with the conscious realm that we call the universe, or at least the observable universe. Okay? The observable universe is everything that we can feel, everything that makes it to our senses through taste, smell, touch, hearing, and seeing. The 5 senses that all fall up under the feeling umbrella that says some type of information is being detected by us. There are different parts of our body that help us detect and then interpret that information in different ways. I said it's all about what can be detected and felt. And then that information that's detected can go on to be interpreted. And that's how we make observations of this universe. Hence, one of the reasons it is called the observable universe. When you have the scientists speaking in terms of that observable universe concept, they're usually only really speaking about that which they can account for of this universe as a whole. The blunder is that they tend to discount the beyond the universe idea, or the quote unquote dark matter or quote unquote black matter idea, as it is taught that dark matter is this unique type of matter that accounts for about 90% of this universe. And they also teach that the so-called dark matter is deemed to be nearly undetectable. The reason for that lack of detectability is the lack of emission of light from that type of matter. I hope y'all are following me. I'm not trying to shine on y'all. This is science now. So I go in, I talk about the celebrities, I do the science. So you gotta keep up with me a little bit. But you know what I mean? All of this is some stuff that you can look into for yourselves too. Okay? When these scientists use even the most powerful telescopes that they have access to, like the Hubble telescope, they are not able to visually observe that matter because it is not emitting light in any part of the electromagnetic spectrum. Okay? If there is any type of emission of that light on the electromagnetic spectrum, that emission is detectable and observable. Yet, them not being able to quote unquote see that type of matter is not and should not be mistaken as enough by itself to just go ahead and disqualify altogether the reality of a type of matter that does exist beyond the immediate observation that human beings on Earth have. I'm breaking down to y'all, especially those of you who be talking about spirituality and dimensions and stuff like that. I'm breaking down to you how the scientists speak about it. Okay? Multiple dimensions, EA, all that kind of stuff. It's scientific, but you just have to know where to look. Okay? That's why... My bad, I dropped y'all on y'all head for a second, my bad. That's why when I speak on observation, I want people to take note of the fact that even if you can't see something, you can still possibly observe it through whatever other sensory inputs you may be able to utilize. You may not be able to see something or observe it visually, but you may be able to still hear it or taste it or feel it. Okay? You may even be able to look at the information surrounding it and be able to see how that information in the form of energetic configurations or in the form of energetic compositions, like the stars you see or the galaxies or the planets, and observe when those objects are being affected by some other type of matter that you can't see. But you can see the effects of that thing or other things on other things around it. The people who study and theorize about this phenomenon, people like the astrophysicists, can look at the surrounding quote-unquote clues of dark matter, and they can also use those clues to detect it. Take a second to imagine it with this following example. So I did all that scientific shit, but I'm gonna break it down to you in layman's, okay, with an example. I ain't gonna leave you out there in the dark if it was a little confusing. So let's say you're walking down an alley and you see the shadow of a person peeking from around a building. You can't at that point see the person, but you can see the evidence of that person. So if I were to ask you what color the person had on, you couldn't tell me. But you might be able to make out whether or not they had on a hat or a jacket or a certain type of clothing just from looking at the shadow. You get what I'm saying? So the shadow is peeking out from around the building. You can't see the person, but you see the shadow. You can't describe the color of what the person got on, but you know that there's a shadow there. All right? Which means that there's evidence of some type of person, or at least something that forms the shape of a person. Y'all get what I'm saying? Okay, cool. That should help with answering the question, if there is one that anyone would have, as far as, well, if dark matter is undetectable, then how do all of these scientists even know that it exists? The answer is to keep it simple. They know that dark matter exists for sure, but they don't know all the details of it, just like you don't know what the person got on. Okay? The same way you can know that there's a person standing off in the alley, but you can't see the person. You can only see that the person's shadow is there. Okay? And it's interacting with the world that you can see. So that would mean you wouldn't be able to fully describe that person, and therefore your ability of the assertion of details regarding that person would be limited. Dark matter is one of the hidden mysteries. When you hear the word dark, as in dark web, dark ages, dark side, dark world, dark lord, you understand? The thing to remember is that there's some sort of implication of mystery or some sort of implication of secrecy. When you keep people in the dark, you keep them from seeing what's actually around them, and you also dim their awareness. If I walk in and turn all of the lights off in your home and then ask for you to describe what's going on around you, you wouldn't be able to really tell, at least not visually, unless I turn that light back on. Okay, so light equals information and darkness equals the lack thereof. When scientists and astronomers and astrophysicists observed the stars and the galaxies and the planets and other celestial bodies in our solar system, they came to the conclusion that the bodies of mass that are closer to the sun, which makes up for most of the actual mass of the solar system, move faster because they are closer to the gravitational center, the sun, and the orbits of these planets closest to the sun take less time to complete. For this planet, Earth, the orbit is 365 days, what we call a year or a Earth year. But for a planet like Mercury, right, a planet that is closer to the sun than we are, it takes 88 days. This is technically speaking from an observer's view if they were actually standing on Mercury. That would be about 176 Earth days that one rotation would be complete during that 88-day journey. I'm only explaining with these numbers that is not pertaining to Mercury, 88 days in a way that we Earthlings look at 88 days on Earth. Both the rotation and orbit of those two planets are significantly different, okay? Which means your perception on that planet would be different. What they realized to stick the landing of the point of building on this is that the objects closer to the gravitational center move faster and the objects further out decreased in their speed. They were thinking that they'd be able to see that same type of occurrence in other galaxies. But when they went ahead and ran those tests and observed another galaxy similar to ours, they saw that there was not present the same type of occurrence. It was the opposite. The outer celestial objects of that galaxy were actually moving faster and they were speeding up. They, the astrophysicists, were stuck with the big question mark of what could have caused that to happen. What was it that was causing them to speed up? This was dark matter, or an object so grand that its gravitational pull was a whole lot stronger than the planetoids or whatever celestial bodies were passing by it. Something was there. They just couldn't observe it visually. Y'all with me? Somebody said a mothership. Somebody said what? Somebody said the Pentagon talking about these big ass bodies that's out there. I don't know. Somebody said it. I don't know. Maybe I was tripping. I want you to imagine that you're looking out your kitchen window while hand washing the dishes and you see your young child on the swing set that's facing to your left and positioned in such a way that the child is only able to be seen when they swing forward. When they swing backwards, they quote unquote disappear for a split second. Okay, I want you to imagine that the child is only 4 years old and you know they can only swing but so high based off of your own observations. Yet while they're swinging and you're washing the dishes, you can see them pick up speed and they begin swinging much higher than you know they can. You aren't able to actually see or observe the force that's causing that extra push, which in that analogy would be whoever is pushing that child. That's what's called an abnormality. And in the same census of those stars and planets moving faster than normal in that other galaxy, you can't see the cause of force, but you can detect that force. This is how they know Nibiru is here, as you call it. This is how they know it's other crafts in your solar system or near your solar system by what's happening in its solar system. This is how they can detect what they call primordial black holes, as somebody was speaking about on Clubhouse, which I thought that was a dope connection. Okay. This is also one of the ways they categorize the quote-unquote higher dimensions that a lot of people talk about, the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 12th dimensions and beyond. These are what I call ATCs, or around the corners. The dimensions or realms or beings that are still within this realm that we call reality, but they're existing in an around the corner type of way when it comes to how and why we can't observe them. The swing set limited visibility analogy that I broke down. Y'all get it? So an object going behind something doesn't make the object actually vanish. It only stops appearing to whoever was observing it from a certain vantage point. When human beings get to a certain age as babies, around 8 to 9 months, and that can vary depending on the baby, typically before you become a year old, you develop a sense of space called object permanence. Okay, object permanence. When that sense kicks in, you can play games like peekaboo, or somebody can hide something from you and you'll know that it still exists and you can still find it even if you can't see it. Without that sense, you'll think things actually vanish. With that being said, think of all the times you may have heard somebody call your name and you were by yourself, or you may have heard a sound that didn't seem like it was coming from anywhere in particular. That emission or vibration That emission of vibration was coming from around a corner. But because you're interacting with this dimension consciously, you couldn't see what was around that corner. You could only hear the sound emitted from it. How many people had that experience? Where you was in your room and somebody called you, somebody called your name. Or you could hear the shit and then it's like you in a room by people say, I'm tripping. You wasn't tripping, you heard something. But it was a slight of dimensions. Okay? All of these. Okay, the same way I broke down the shadow of the person in the alley analogy is the same way quantum physicists break down the evidence of higher dimensions, saying that there are shadows casted on this world that is called the 3D world or the material plane. Okay, so those shadows help them to figure out about the potential reality of there existing another higher dimensions or other higher dimensions. All of the things that people were calling spirituality were really just higher sciences, higher as in dimensional, which is why every time you ask a human being to describe anything beyond the third dimension, they have to resort to using three-dimensional terms, okay, and references in order to even attempt to describe these realms. Ask somebody to do that. Anybody who be talking about 4D, 5D, ask them to describe it. And watch them say colors. And watch them talk about stuff that you can see in this realm. So who actually is speaking about a fourth dimension? You're not really speaking about a fourth dimension. You can't really put a number on it. You're trying to, but you can't put a number on the infinite realm. But you're trying to. So you say fourth dimension, what you're really just saying is a more blissful state. Okay? But you want to be blissful, not thinking about the fact that there's other dimensions that are in chaos too. They're not all blissful. So it can't mean that a higher dimension or a less dense dimension means that is all peaceful and things are better. No, there are realms that operate on a less dense level or higher dense level, whatever, and they still have chaos. So no, you don't know what a fourth dimension is beyond 3D. Human beings aren't able to perceive that consciously. They only can perceive what they can consciously perceive, person, place, or thing. You understand? So that's the observable universe. Everything else is beyond you. You don't know what that is. So if you don't know what that is, then somebody cast that spell on even the conscious community. You understand? Because if nobody can observe that and we don't even understand what that is other than just say that it could be something, okay, then who was able to observe it to tell people what it was? No, it's just other dimensions, other places of observation is what you're really saying. Or levels of consciousness, okay? All right, cool. The truth is, when it comes to the universe and some of these ideas, humans simply just don't know. And whatever levels of consciousness there is that the humans or the beings within this earth realm were possibly in tune with to be able to understand those levels of dimensions, they've clearly lost touch with them. It's either that or they've fallen from those levels of consciousness over time. And that is because their journeys generationally became more about having faith than doing works. Nowadays, most people only rely on belief, while the scientists are taking the math and utilizing it to make those things make sense for them, to be able to know. This is what is truly meant by having an understanding of supreme mathematics. Okay? That's what's truly meant by it. When you look into the type of work that the physicists and astronomers and chemists and biologists and neuroscientists do, you will find that they don't simply hypothesize or look at things hypothetically. All of those movies or all of those documentaries concerning physics and all of those lessons from physics class, if you took physics at any given time in your life, were all about math and equations to help explain certain occurrences and happenings and to help solve real problems. It's similar to a simulation or a video game. When a person programs a video game, every action or pixel, even on down to the physics of that game or that realm, for example, how will gravity interact with the characters or the objects? All of it is about numbers, calculation. My bad, y'all, I cut off for a second. When a person programs video games, every action or pixel, even on down to the physics of the game or that realm. For example, how will gravity interact with the characters or the objects? All of it is about numbers, calculations, equations, problems, and problems being solved. All right, I put a picture of Einstein on the chalkboard. This is the type of awareness that certain groups of people like the Neterat or the Neteru or the Enad or the Agdo in ancient Egypt, people like Tahuti or Ta, were said to have possessed certain sciences. And it was also taught that he had the awareness of how light works many ages before an Einstein or Nikola Tesla ever existed. It was said that he had the understanding of the mind and how it works way before a Sigmund Freud, a man who spoke about the identity, the ego, and the superego. All right, would it be the id? You go look into the id, the ego, the superego. Okay, self-critical conscious The reflecting social standards learned from parents and teachers. Okay? I have explained before that the one called Tahuti or Ta or Teo or Theo or Thoth or Hermes was a very important being or person when it comes to the establishment of human civilization. He, Tahuti, the great wise, was often referred to as the god of wisdom. You can find him being referred to or referenced in the Bible in the book of Job 38:36, where the question is asked, who gave or who gives the ibis wisdom? Okay? It has been taught that the ibis symbolizes great wisdom and the ability to work magic or perform the arts. Tahuti is the god of wisdom and also the god of the arts. He also, god of arts or the arts. He's also the god of architect. That ties you back to the true and exact supreme mathematics that people speak on. His mask was an ibis with the long beak of the bird being reflected in his hand, okay? Because he was also the master scribe. That pen being called the quill, which was likened unto a feather pen. Tahuti was also the god of the main topic at hand, which is time. This day and time we are in is the time of Re, all right? When you say the words time of Re aloud, you will hear the words time of Re, okay? Time of Re, time of Re. This is, to me, the time of light. Think in terms of the movie Little Nicky, when he was given a ball of light, and he was told that when the time comes, he would know what to do with that light. That light, the true light, is indeed right knowledge. With that right knowledge, we know what to do. All you have to do is look around you, and you can see that right now, human beings are being put to the test. The only time people fear or dread a test is when they are not prepared to take it. Ain't that the truth? Only time people fear if you don't want to take a test is only because you didn't study for it. You understand? I had a situation when I was in school, I knew I didn't study for the test. I took the test, I flunked the shit out of it. And I didn't give a fuck. The teacher wanted me to be mad. The teacher wanted me to be remorseful about it. I said, nigga, I know why I didn't pass the damn test. I didn't pass because I didn't study the shit. You feel what I'm saying? So I ain't have no reason to dread, you know what I mean? Unless you lie to yourself. You know you didn't study, so the only dread will come from you didn't study for the test. But if you know you didn't study, what's your dread coming from? You understand? The overstanding of your negligence. Okay? So this is why it has been said that this day and time will be both great and dreadful, like I spoke of either earlier or yesterday, one of them. Meaning great to some, dreadful to others. My message has been clear up to this point. All right? People only have to be willing to listen and to learn and then take action. This is why I spoke to the masses that this year, 2023, is the year of offense. There is no more time to play around. You will not be able to make progress by sitting still and using defensive methods only. You cannot sit and wait. All right? You cannot simply stand still and block the attacks. It's just like the video game Mortal Kombat. In that game, if you block an attack, how many people remember that shit? If you block an attack and you attempt to keep blocking instead of countering, after a while, the attacks will have an impact on your fighter or your character. If you press and hold the block button throughout the match and you continue to do so, you will lose, as each attack from your opponent will still do damage. Okay? This time we think we know is moving faster. Time is speeding up. One of the simplest measurements of time is going from a point A back around to the point A. This is called a rotation or an orbit or a cycle. If you time a cycle or cycles, you can keep track of what happens during those cycles that are being timed. If you weigh those time cycles against a constant tick-tock, okay, you can detect the speeding up and slowing down of those cycles. Those increases and decreases in speed do occur, and that is what the scientists of today are finally coming out and admitting to the people. Okay, I ain't gonna draw y'all to death because I'm noticing at the end of the book is a lot of science. So we're gonna do a quick song break and then we get back into it. All right, or we could do some Q&A. If y'all got some questions during the song, just drop them and I'm gonna be seeing if I can see them. All right. So I don't want to draw you to death though, because you said this is the scientific part. This is where we get deep into it. Okay? All right. What? He had time, she had time. What? We had time. He had time, she had time. What? We had time. Father, don't worry if I come home late. I'm trying to
great. Los Angeles fucked around and went worldwide. Babylon fell straight to hell, then the world cried. This ain't no pandemic, it's the rapture. Who heard God? Guess they only dodged the bullet after it hurled by. Everybody cover their mouth, try not to breathe it in. Trump wasn't even wearing no mask. Government demons been deceiving the masses. For those believing in classes, I hope this taught you a lesson. Republican people passing before they office election. This ain't just about no 5G, no. Nigga think reciting the internet implies he woke, but he don't know how deep that 5G go. Fifth generation, the devil's waiting in place. He's finna trot these roles, and as you know, there's a few chosen ones amongst you, dawg. That's why they push the devil music, cause they want you lost. But that's okay, I got it under control. I'ma cancel every rapper that don't honor the soul, and let every one of them know that he had time, she had time, da-da-da-dum-dum. He had time, she had time, what we had time, da-da-da-dum-dum. No. Father, don't worry if I come home late. I'm trying to save your people from the devil. He's watching, he's praying to Los Angeles fucked around and went worldwide. The Babylon fell straight to hell, then the world cried. This ain't no pandemic, it's the rapture. Who heard God? Guess they only dodged the bullet after it hurled by. Everybody ran in the house, try not to breathe it in. Trump wasn't even scared of no gas. Government sneaking and releasing them gases. For those believing in past shit, I hope this brought you a present. Good luck with them FEMA caskets, you swore them coffins was blessings. This ain't just about they IG posts. This the beast we fighting, the internet implies he close. But we don't supposed to be behind these folks. This generation was elevating in case he finna trot these roles. As you know, there's a few chosen ones amongst you, dawg. That's why they push the devil music, cause they want you lost. But that's okay, I got it under control. I'ma cancel every rapper that don't honor the soul, and let every one of them know that he had time, she had time, da-da-da-dum-dum. He had time, she had time, what we had time, da-da-da-dum-dum. No. Father, don't worry if I come home late. I'm trying to save your people from the devil. He's watching, he's praying to stop me.
Righteous. So we had time, you know. We had time. And I told people that the hidden code behind the we had time is emit the hue. You spell it backwards. Emit the hue. So you had time in the dark. It's time to get up and emit the hue. And the way that you emit the hue is you become enlightened. You become the corona or the elite. It's time for you to take the throne. All of you become the government. Yeah, that's out. That's on the Blood of the Lamb album. The Blood of the Lamb. I tell you, I don't drop books randomly. I don't drop songs randomly. I don't post on Instagram randomly. And when I can afford it finally, I ain't going to be wearing outfits randomly. But, you know, ain't too much I can do with the budget. But shit, one day, you got to pay attention to the outfits too one day. But right now, all I can do is really just, you know, recycle pants and shit. Hope niggas don't notice. Because, you know, that's why I wear a lot of black pants. Like, you know, because there's not a lot of black pants. It's the same fucking shit. But, you know, one day, y'all saw what he wore. But right now, don't pay attention to what I wear. Pay attention to what's important. You know, but none of this shit is random. All of this shit is planned out. And it's calculated. But you got to go listen. So listen to the Blood of the Lamb album. You can find it on YouTube, Faise One Blood of the Lamb. And it's a whole experience. Okay? And from that experience, you'll be able to hear certain things. I put Malachi York voice in at certain points. I break certain things down. All of them. The Rising Sun EP is out. Or album is out. Go listen to the Rising Sun. That's another heavy one. Okay? So all this stuff is already, it's just telling you what's going on. Okay? It might seem like on the surface it is one thing, but once you hear me talk and you hear me break certain things down, you realize that this ain't that. Because it ain't. You know what I'm saying? It's different. All this is about action. So we just got to get to the people. And then the action is able to take place on a higher level. Okay? So for the people, I saw another question. Somebody asked, what were the artists supposed to be doing? What are artists? Brother Pharaoh asked that. What are the artists supposed to be doing? Well, the artists are supposed to be at war right now. If you finna be out here, if you trying to go to Disneyland and you want to just loopy-doopty this thing, okay, then you in the wrong day and time. It's war right now. You supposed to be using your gift or your art to battle these beasts. And that don't mean you got to do what I'm doing. Now listen, let me tell y'all something. I'm throwed off. I just don't give a fuck. I ain't scared or worried about none of these niggas. These niggas don't strike no type of fear in my heart. These are little bodies. We ain't worried about them. But I'm not telling you to be me. I'm not, I'm not telling you to call these niggas names out of shit like that. They like, damn, this nigga is in Atlanta doing that, and he still go to the grocery store. Yeah, I'm not worried about these niggas. You know what I'm saying? Because what the biggest dish you think I've been doing this whole time is calling niggas out and saying what we could have been using these platforms for. I learned that a long time ago, bro. These niggas ain't on shit, nothing. So I ain't worried about them. But that's me. I'm just thrown off. You don't have to be thrown off. I'm the nigga you seeing there. I remember being the what you call it, the paintball and shit. I used to go one of my peoples. We used to go do paintballing. And I was the crazy nigga because, you know, everybody don't want to get hit with the little paintball shit. My ass would be running out in the field like, where niggas at? They like, yo, Faye, take cover, fuck cover. You know what I'm saying? And what happens is fuck with people's psyche, it fuck with people's psyche too. Because you can't play that off. Because your ass, if you try to act like you own that shit, but then them paintball get to hit your ass, nigga, they get to hollering and shit. I don't do that. I be eating them bitches. Like, where niggas at? Yeah, that ain't nothing. There be the niggas dipping around. Because when that adrenaline get to rushing and you use that energy, you out in that field, I use that shit to my advantage, and I snatch the flag. What y'all niggas on? Shit? Yeah, you can shoot me in the back all you want to. Yeah, all right, cool. I done took a few of y'all niggas out. You feel what I'm saying? Boom. So that's what the thing is. I ain't worried. So it's a war going on. Fuck they industry. It's war. What are you saying? That's what we supposed to be doing. Fuck their industry, it's war. Now, your way of doing it might be different. Maybe you'll just put out a whole lot of positive music. You understand? Maybe you put out a bunch of music with certain frequencies tuned into it. And, you know, use it how you use it. Use your platform how you use your platform. All right? Or let's say this. Maybe something happened, you blow up. Brother Pharaoh, you a dancer. Okay, cool. You blow up. Let's say you do a dance on TikTok and everybody just likes, and you do it to a song and maybe you created or whatever. Let's say tomorrow some shit blow up with you, and in the next 3 months you become a millionaire. Okay, you come up on like 3-4 million, however the fuck. It can happen. Don't doubt it. It can happen. Don't forget your brother who's out here fighting. You know what I'm saying? Because he don't have no help. Don't forget your brother. When you come up, remember your brother. You know what I'm saying? Throw him $1 million, because these other people who know me, they ain't gonna help me. These celebrities, they won't help me because they know what I'm doing. You gonna help somebody tear your house down? Would you do that? I don't blame them. You ain't gonna help somebody tear your house down. So remember your brother. My point is, you help the other people who are really on that walk. Now, I'm not telling you to send me no money right now. I'm saying, nigga, if your ass come a fucking $4 million there, you better send me $1 million to help me, nigga. You knowing that I'm gonna put that shit back out. You know, I'm playing, but I'm not playing. So the thing is, you help each other. You stand with the other warriors. You find where they at, and you help them. Because we fighting, it's not many of us, but people are fighting in different ways, doing different things. They might got a platform, a podcast. You know, they might be over here with readings. They might be doing prayers over here. Some people might be in the Republican Party. You think that, you know, you got sisters like Angela Stanton. People don't want to, you know, listen to what she be saying, but she's saying some real shit. And she coming from the same hood. You know what I'm saying? She from Summer Hill. She oriented the same way a lot of niggas is oriented. And they try to overlook her and make people like that think, support them type of people. Follow them, stand with them, and, you know what I'm saying, walk with them. That way, when your art is put up on them, not saying that you got to lead with it, because look, maybe it's not your thing to go out in the forefront. Because let me tell you something about going out in the forefront. These niggas ain't never blackballed motherfuckers faster than they blackball all of them today, because you have to know opportunity is different now. You understand? It's more opportunity, but it's oversaturated. So they blackballing a lot of niggas now, and they gatekeeping. They trying to, at least, but because of the opportunities out here, you can't really be blackballed unless you're trying to be a part of the industry. So maybe you want to be signed. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to down you, for whoever's listening, not just the brother I'm talking to. Maybe you would want to be signed. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you want to be picked. Maybe it will help you to get an advance and this, that, and the third. And as long as you understand contract law and you get a lawyer, whatever, entertainment lawyer to read over, whatever, maybe it could help you. And maybe you like, Faise, you crazy. I don't want to be crazy with you. Nigga, I want to actually, I want friends in the industry. I want to actually be able to pull the nigga on my podcast and they ain't trying to get me going. Okay, well then you utilize that. And you don't forget about the ones who in the front line. So you go big in the forefront, and then you help support the ones who it might be a little harder for us. You feel what I'm saying? To get up, because we ain't going that way. We just not doing it. It's just not us. So it's different routes you could take, but it's all war. That's what it is. Everybody who don't know that, it's like, hey, look. You know what I mean? It's going to be what it's going to be. But it's war right now. You feel what I'm saying? Everybody has to know it's war. And when it's war, you're going to have fallen soldiers. You're going to have all kind of stuff, casualties, everything. And I kept telling people, I said, shit, I'm going to hit the industry hard as fuck. So I'm different, y'all. I don't give a fuck. I was raised not to give a fuck. They ain't going to be able to do that with me. You can't linger no shit, hold no shit over my head. I don't care nothing about your money. I don't care nothing about your car, no clothes, no none of that. You can't use that. With nothing will you be able to use. And they come. Trust me, they came. You got to know they came a long time before now. You got to know they watching now and coming now. Yeah, they coming. You know what I'm saying? Independent artists and big labels alike have been trying to get me to sign with them and work with them or be up under them. Man, please. No, because it's too big. Y'all don't got no vision like that. It's too big. Because all y'all want to do is take care of self. We got a whole generation to take care of. You feel what I'm saying? And generations to come. You feel me? Family, please stop doing that. I see you. Just please stop. All right? Or get blocked. Just stop. Okay? So the bottom line is people have to know that that's war. So what are the artists doing? They're fighting. Every time you release a song, you're fighting. Every time you pull a sword out, go to the studio, it's a war. You see it? They be doing that shit, and I don't know why they do that shit. Like, bro, I be telling y'all niggas, stop doing that shit, bro. Y'all know I don't fuck with none of them niggas. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't want it to be like that, just stop naming niggas. I don't fuck with none of them niggas. And I got my own reasons why I don't fuck with them. Period, point blank. And I told people I wasn't just on the celebrities in the industry. I'm on the celebrities in the conscious community. Everybody, bro. Everybody, bro. Everybody. I got a song called Everybody. A song coming for everybody. Now, again, you don't got to be like me. But my whole thing is I think everybody care. I think everybody fake. I think everybody flaw. I think everybody just trying to put food in their belly. And everybody trying to chase clout. That's all I think. Now, one might be able to argue, but Faise, aren't you chasing clout? Yeah. Shit, I'm going for attention too. But it's not for what niggas is going for it for. I don't want clout to be able to say that I'm a famous rapper. I don't want clout and attention to be able to say, look at me, y'all. Y'all like my shoes? You got to get the fuck out of town thinking that this is what it's about. No, I need the clout. I need the attention. Yes, don't let nobody try to play y'all. These same folks talking about these niggas chasing clout. These niggas want clout. Clout is the shit. What are you talking about? We can't do shit without the clout. Because motherfuckers don't listen to niggas without no clout. You know what I mean? You see how they do? They try to play. You say, he only trying to get some money. Then the nigga don't have the money. Then you say, he woke and he broke. You got to make up your mind. I mean, just make up your mind so you can have peace with yourself. Because you can, obviously, it don't affect nothing that a nigga do who really got a definite a purpose. We don't really hear y'all. You know what I'm saying? We just be like, bro, them niggas is weird. You know what I mean? Because the bottom line is, if I wasn't here, who would be doing this part? Everybody do their part. You feel what I'm saying? You do your part. So I don't think none of these niggas on shit for real. I think everybody just really wanted to get some money. And that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Get your money. But that ain't big enough. That's not a big enough plan. Because you could have been a fucking car salesman and made the same amount of money. Didn't have nothing to do with the souls. You could have been an investor. You could have Warren Buffetted this shit and been bigger than any of these niggas. Why you had to come over here with us, fucking with us, fucking up the groove? Got niggas thinking that this shit is about standing in front of some pictures talking about something. Y'all niggas fucked the groove up. We was on our way somewhere. And y'all niggas been on Blog Talk. You been on YouTube wasting time. And they be the motherfuckers who will come up with some money. Trust me, they'll come up with the money. What Young Pharaoh did, he came with some money and then got mad at everybody. So let me ask you a question. Young Pharaoh, you used the fact that people was heckling you. You had hecklers. You had niggas that was being mean to you in the comments. You used that as a reason to say fuck black people. And I got him on tape saying that shit. He don't fuck with black people. He with white people. He been with white people the whole time. That's what he said on tape. To me. I don't fuck with white people. I don't fuck with black people. That he was hiccuping. I don't fuck with black people. I've been with white people the whole time. I'm with white people. I've been with white people the whole time. I just want niggas to leave me alone. I'm not in the street. I'm like, what the fuck is this man talking about? But he got some money. Then he get some money off y'all. Then y'all run his views up. Then he become a millionaire off y'all. Then Derek Grace become a millionaire off the people. But y'all gotta like pay attention, bro. These folks get some money and dip. So I'm with white people. This is fucking retards. What are they talking about? What does it have to do with anything? But these niggas wasn't on shit because they were only reciting Malachi York. That's what happens. That'll do it every time. You don't have a plan, but you reciting another man's shit. So people thought you had the plan. And then I showed people the Malachi. They were like, wait a minute, hold on. Damn, he's saying what Young Pharaoh was saying. No, nigga, Young Pharaoh was saying what he was saying. Let's get it right. Young Pharaoh knew on the block. You feel me? That'll explain it to you. So when Malachi York got some money, what Malachi York did? He was putting people in houses and homes. He built 470. He had bought 476 acres worth of land. He was building the land on it. People could come and get it, and he was putting all the stuff out and supporting all this other stuff and sending stuff over here to charities. And it's a little different. You feel me? So that's about just keep fighting. That's what it's about. The war don't stop. Listen, it don't stop. Somebody in here gotta hear me. It don't stop. No matter what they think they finna do or what they do, you can't stop. Which means that every time it might look like we took an L, you gotta go harder. So if something ever happened to me, one of y'all motherfuckers gotta be like, fuck that. And I'm not talking about get out here and try to sound like me and talk like me or just post videos like me. No, I'm saying one of y'all motherfuckers got to be ready to go push past this industry shit, find a way to siphon all of the resources that you can out of this machine and pour it back into the community so people can finally focus on their spirituality. And you have to do it in such a timely manner. That's what this shit is about. Now, even with me saying that ain't the plan. Ain't nobody going to plan. But that's what it has to ultimately come up under, the reality of a harmonic convergence that you create. So you can't let them get rid of me and be like, damn, and then just keep pushing me and promoting me. No. If that happens, look, I did what I was supposed to do. And you got to do it. You got to keep going. You got to pick up that baton and keep running. Okay? Because it's children that are being born. They don't know nothing about any of this. They only waiting on us. And they children going to be born, and whatever we did within the next 30, 40 years, I promise you, niggas don't have 30-year plans. I got a 50, 60-year plan. Niggas don't have a 5-year plan. We need those types of plans. And the plan has to have something to do with what we can do for the whole of our people. Not just our people, but the people of planet Earth. You feel me? So that's what this music shit is about. What else would be my purpose of being a celebrity? Why would I need to be a celebrity if I'm not going to change the world? Now, what did Pac say? He said, I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or that I'm going to change the world, but I will say that I will spark the brain of the one who will change the world. And then sooner or later, this person is born. So that spark has already been here. He ain't the only one that sparked it, but, you know, the world is being changed, y'all. The world is being changed. So that's what the artists are doing, fighting. All right? Even if you're a dancer, okay? If you're going for a celebrity status or platform, even if you're not doing music, you have to use that platform, okay? Because I'm changing what it means to be a celebrity. We got to change that. Celebrities will have to operate like leaders for real. You understand? Meaning, if you're in position, the people put you in position for a specific reason. All right? And eventually people going to stop doing that altogether, but you got to get past all of the facade first. All right? So that's what it's about, y'all. So I think we're going to bring it to a close, not just because, you know, it's coming to a close, but the phone finna die. I tell you, I still ain't bought no new phone, man. I'm telling you, I don't know, man. I don't know, goddamn. I could have. I can, but I ain't, you know, I ain't bought the bitch yet. Shit, so. Somebody said me they're gonna send one for me, but I ain't, you know, they ain't sent it yet. I ain't really reached out to them for it. But one day I'm gonna have another phone, so we'll be on this bitch for hours on hours. Okay, for everybody who sent a donation, I seen somebody ask when are they coming out. They should be out this shadow or within the next hour. Because you gotta remember, I gotta send them out to everybody. You know what I'm saying? So I have to actually do that. So they will be out though. So if you send it, I appreciate you. Thank y'all for supporting. We gonna rock out with one of these songs. Try to figure out which one it's gonna be. Probably the same one, I don't know. Actually, I know which one. Because that's my shit. We're going to rock out, and then we'll be back here later on today, the 15th. All right?
Just don't cry for me. Shit got me all in my feelings. I got a lot on my mind, just trying to figure it out. Just don't cry for me. Tell me you have faith in me now. You don't have to wait till I'm gone. Tell me now, cause when I'm gone, I'm gone. Promise you'll remember my smile. My favorite movie was High School Musical. Yeah. I shy mama, that had a lot to do with you. My brothers and my sisters, I was hard on y'all, but I left millions in my bank account for y'all. Go ball. All my enemies that hated me, I hope you understand. I wasn't trying to be your rival, I was focused on the plan. Anybody ever knew me, you can ask what I was on. There wasn't no clout chasing, niggas stood on facts cause I was young. I like they dark skins, light skins, as long as they was us. It's just something about how they talk, how they walk, how they touch. Strong women I adore, been in line since I was 4. Not a born street nigga, but I still hopped out that poor. Back in school I wasn't no cool kid, I know that I was weird, but I was known I had that popularity amongst my peers. Mama wanted me to be a doctor, told me take it serious. But when I chose to do the music, she supported my career. All them years, I ain't gonna lie, this shit got me all in my feelings. I got a lot on my mind, just trying to figure it out. Just don't cry for me. Tell me you have faith in me now. You don't have to wait till I'm gone. Tell me now, cause when I'm gone, I'm gone. Promise you'll remember my smile. Father in heaven, welcome me home. I'm prepared to be a guardian angel for all my homes. They recall it all the talking I gave them back in the hood. I ain't reaching, I did the best that I could. Shit, I know them niggas are soldiers. I know that they gon' drill for some. Just tired of seeing niggas getting killed so young. I know the game changed when I came. I came up on that fame, dropping names, and it never was the same. I left a blueprint for the future generations. I hit the game later, started moving with donations. Hey, young world, you really did inspire me. Hope I ain't raised you alone in the village, did entirely. Young ladies, you are much more than your body. Young niggas, you are much more than a body. Hey, play this in the schools, bleed whatever that you need to. If we don't got our own schools by then, for our people, we need to. I ain't gonna lie, this shit got me all in my feelings. I got a lot on my mind, just trying to figure it out. Just don't cry for me. Tell me you have faith in me now. You don't have to wait till I'm gone. Tell me now, cause when I'm gone, I'm gone. Promise you'll remember my smile. If I die behind respect, don't beat me up, that shit retarded. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking, I made myself a target. But I know I did whatever with a purpose. So regardless if they kill me, I know God feel me, he know where my heart is. I was grateful, got a chance to tell my ex that I was sorry. I was mean and fuck, found out that she got pregnant off in college. Years later had a link and finally said what I was thinking. She was crying, so surprised, cause we had never talked about it. I'm a man. She wanna forgive me too, that shit feel like a burden. Real man gon' overstand when he wrong. Shit, I done said some shit to my sisters I never should've spoke. Just because they made me mad, no excuse. Cause they proud to know they brother got they back. And shit, I know that they know. They probably ain't even tripping. We family, that shit be different. Had a heart to heart with my brother. One night I had a few. But I mean every word I said, the drum man tell the truth. He really do. Yeah. I ain't gonna lie, this shit got me all in my feelings. I got a lot on my mind, just trying to figure it out. Just don't cry for me. Tell me you have faith in me now. You don't have to wait till I'm gone. Tell me now, cause when I'm gone, I'm gone. Promise you'll remember my smile. Yeah. I ain't gonna lie, this shit got me. They just know. I got a lot on my mind, just trying to. All I ever wanted to do was change the world. Just don't cry for me. Shit, I know I wasn't always right. Me now. You know I do what I'm supposed to do. I let people down from time to time. When I'm gone, I'm gone. My heart was always in the right place. My smile. Just want y'all to know I love y'all. Oh yeah. When you hear that voice, just feel the love. You know, this is all I had, all I could give. But I promise you,